CFA fam, what is up? What is happening? We are on to week 7. We are here once again, as we do every single week, to answer every single one of your questions. We're hoping not to be on until almost 2 o'clock in the morning this week. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see how things go. I'm hoping not. But
it's the goal.
We love being here. We love talking to you guys. But almost 5 hours stream last week because of it was a lot. It was a lot. So, anyways, let's just get right to it. JT, first in the chat, first with the first question. Need to. CEH, Olave, Deontay, or Drake London?
I'm going to go Olave and London. Like, CEH's usage scares me. I know, Kev, you were talking about on the wide receiver show that the Cardinals have done extremely well at shutting down number one receivers. And this week for the Saints, I think, frankly, the entire year, but especially with the injuries, we have Michael Thomas out again with an injury. So that lines up to be Olave. But Deontay Johnson, I can't trust that. The dude is getting double-digit targets every single week and hasn't done jack diddly dick with them. At least with Olave, you have the opportunity for him to break off a long one, right? Like I said, CEH, that his usage just scares me. We saw McKinnon, I think, he either outsnapped him or outtouched him last week. So it's going to be Olave in London.
It's going to be, I agree on Drake London, but I'm going to go with Deontay. But I get it, right? I mean, on the surface, you look at Olave, they're really missing a lot of their wide receivers. Who are they going to throw the ball to? You should see a lot of targets. But like I've said, they shut down Devontae Adams. I think he had 2 catches for 20 yards. And then A.J. Brown had 3 catches for 30 yards. They've done a really good job of stopping opposing, number one wide receivers. But so I would just slightly lean towards Deontay in London just because of matchups. So, so we agree on London, and then we're different on the other two. 808, rocking with us once again. Would you trade Jamar Chase for Christian McCaffrey? I mean,
not to live the hashtag hedge life already with the second question, but I think a lot of that depends on your roster and kind of what your team needs are, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yes. I mean, I think yes, I probably would, but it really depends on are you really going to be solid at wide receiver? You're just going to create another hole by filling that one and then going to him. You know what I mean? If you don't have a really strong wide receiver room already, and if you trade him, now all of a sudden you're just going to have a hole there, but you're going to make your running backs better. So it really depends on what the rest of your team look like. I agree.
808, if you're still with us, let us know what your roster looks like.
Yeah. What should I do with Melvin? I think I'm flexing Eno again this week over Melvin. I don't know. I mean, they said today that him and Hackett had a heart-to-heart, and and they worked their stuff out, and he's the starter, and I don't know. This team is such a train wreck right now. Yeah.
I think Connor is questionable game time decision.
Yeah, game time. Yeah. Is that your only options, Josh? You only have either or Melvin. What's the rest of your bench look like? Who else do you have? Because I don't love Benjamin either this week, to be fair. And so I don't really like either of them. If I had to choose, I probably would roll the dice with Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I think I'm going Melvin as well. And not even necessarily going Melvin, but at least I'm giving myself another opportunity to not play either of them. If something else comes up, at least I have another out.
Brandon, it's time to drop Jamal Williams if DeAndre Swift. I don't think you need to drop drop Jamal Williams. I mean, he's still going to get opportunity. He has standalone value. Like he was really good without DeAndre Swift, but even when Swift plays, he's still going to see. He's still going to see touches. It's going to be much more of like the Tony Pollard type, where he's probably going to see 8 to 10 carries a game, and maybe see a couple targets a game. So, but he's still going to be usable. So no, I wouldn't drop Jamal Williams.
I mean, I think like maybe like in an 8-team league, you potentially could. But outside of that, I'm gonna hold on to him. Like you said, he has standalone value. Um, if they're gonna try and protect Swift, because they talked a lot this offseason about wanting to keep him healthy, and then he already got banged up. So like I could see the goal line, these short yardage situations still going to Jamal Williams, and then he'll chip in on the passing work here and there. So I really like Jamal Williams, and I think especially with bye weeks starting to come up, he could slide into like a flex spot, RB2 spot for you if you need to.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Jose, what could I get for Devontae and J Rob? I need space in my roster so I can add D Hop from suspension, or should I drop James Robinson?
Man,
I mean, I
is
think it
there
depends on kind of like what you're looking for. But if you're just trying to make a move and somebody like that is expendable to you, I think maybe buying. I think you could probably go after. I don't know. Like, I think maybe like, do you think like, because I think like Keenan Allen could get, you could get that done for Devonta and James Robinson. Devonta Smith's been pretty good,
for sure?
and then
Yeah,
James, so I think Keenan Allen would actually be somebody that you could look to buy. He's expected to practice this week and be back out there. So if he does, and you get him, I think that would be a really solid option. I mean, he could be a top 12 wide receiver rest of season. And if you're considering dropping him anyway, I think you could do that route. Something like that would always be an option. Guys like that are coming off injury would be a way you go at running back. Like maybe try to get like Travis Etienne. I know you're at James Robinson, but like maybe ship both those out for Travis Etienne. I think for a buying opportunity there, maybe even try to go after like a Aaron Jones. I think could be possible with the way that he's played. Um, I think that's kind of where I'd be looking. If it was
I
me.
like that Keenan. I like that Keenan Allen call. That's a really interesting proposition.
Yeah, I think that's what I would be looking to offer.
And it sucks that that's like really the only like there has to be someone worse than J Rob to drop, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know why you would. I mean, unless it's like a really thin league, but
Yeah,
um, Jose again, Tua or Dak for this week and rest of season.
Dak and Dak.
Yeah, 100% Dak this week. They're playing the Lions, so this is a tremendous bounce back or spot for him to come out and play week 1. So yeah, definitely Dak. And I think Dak rest of season as well. I think I agree there. Start sit Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Tyreek, Godwin, Njoku, Stevenson, McPherson, D bench. Oh wait, oh no, this is a different team. It must be a different team. So I was like, wait, oh he already got ETN, but apparently not. Different team. ETN, Najee, D Hop, Sutton, Pitts. Are you making any changes? I guess I don't think I would make any changes to this team.
I think the only thing would be if Damian Harris does come back this week. I think you could potentially look at moving Stevenson out. Sucks that you're not going to know in time for D Hop because we both have him as a top 12 option this week. So I think if Harris does come back, it would either be ETN or Sutton for me over Stevenson.
Yeah, I would think I would sit D Hop this 1 week with what the options you have because I want to play Stevenson if Harris is out, and if he does it, you have other options on your bench that you can turn to, so you're still fine. That's the way I would roll with it this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Sorry for all the questions. No problem, Jose. So we are here for my man, Raylan. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Where are you at? That is good afternoon. Either way. Pick 2 by Beat It Down. Pick 2, Lockett, Deontay, Duvernay, or London. Also, Jimmy G or Tua. I'm going to go Tua on the quarterback.
I would go Tua as well.
And then Lockett, Deontay, Duvernay, or London. I'm going to go with Lockett and Deontay, but I think you're going to go a different direction.
Lockett and London.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Raylan, I traded Hopkins for CeeDee Lamb in a 10-man league. Rate to trade 6 or 7. I mean, I think it's fine, especially with Dak Prescott coming back. But I think Hopkins could be fine too. So I mean, I think, yeah, I like it.
I was going to give it a solid B.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade. Schultz, Ertz, or Knox rest of season PPR.
Oh,
I would go
Lord.
Schultz, but that really worries me because he's.
I would have it. Yeah,
I would probably go Schultz, Ertz, then Knox.
That's how I'd have it ranked as well.
Because I'm worried with Ertz, with DeAndre Hopkins coming back. Like, is he just? Are the opportunities going to be there? Are the targets going to be there once you have him back? Rondale Moore, but I guess losing Marquise Brown, I think it helps him out a little bit because it's kind of a similar situation. So, but it's very close.
In Knox, you can never count on those targets.
No. Lexus, Montgomery, Kirk, Myers, Juju, Drake. Pick 2 for my flex. This would be Kirk and Jacoby Myers for me.
Yep.
Already have Chase, Evans, JT, Lenny starting. Yeah, good to see with Jonathan Taylor. He got a full practice today. That he's going to play this weekend unless something happens. Unless he has some sort of setback, he's definitely playing. If them practicing in full already. Hey TFA, and it's a tight end dilemma this week. Patty Fry or Waller? I don't think Waller practiced today.
He did not.
Which doesn't really matter. It's only Wednesday, but
coming off the bye.
Yeah.
No, what you want to see.
Yeah. So
I guess Patty, but I mean, those concussions are stacking up for Frymuth quite quickly. I think he's already had 2 this season alone. So maybe they look to take it easy with him. How do you feel about, speaking of concussions, how do you feel about Cade Otton?
I think there are actually 3 really intriguing tight end options right now for people to look at. I think Cade Otton is definitely one of them because Cameron Braid's probably going to miss some time with the injury he had. And it's probably going to be an extended period of time. And so I think obviously we want somebody that's tethered to Tom Brady in that offense. We know he likes to use them, and especially inside the red zone, and especially with all the injuries they've had this year. So I think Cade Otton is somebody that people should definitely be looking at. But I also think Dulcich, I think, is also an option for the Broncos. Seeing Alberto as a healthy scratch, just put him out of his misery at this point because the guy's done absolutely nothing all year. But this also, you're talking about this Broncos offense that hasn't looked very good. But, Dulcich, had that nice long touchdown grab. He played almost the majority of the passing snaps with this team. So I think he is an option. And then I think the other one is Daniel Bellinger, who has started to see his opportunities go up. They're utilizing him in multiple different ways. He scored a touchdown in back-to-back weeks. His snap share, his routes run are all going up, which is something you definitely want to see. I actually have him as a top 12 tight end this week at 12 against Jacksonville. And so I think all 3 of those guys are a very viable option at tight end. And this is a position that we know isn't great. And so, if you really don't have, in my eyes, like a top 6, 7, 8 tight end, somewhere around that range, probably once you get past like Gerald Everett and like TJ Hawkinson range, I think these are the guys you should be looking at now for this week. I mean, it doesn't sound like Darren Waller is going to play. And so I have Patty Fry at 10. So I would play him. because Miami has also not been very good against tight ends this year. So, but I did want to shout out those 3 tight ends. If you're looking for a tight end help, like those 3 are the guys that I would look at, and they're all widely available.
Yeah.
Andrea, hi everyone. How's it going? Renfro or Gallup? Who would you put? Gallup for me.
Gallup.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout.
Michael Brown, Duvernay or Ayuk? I'm going Ayuk.
Ayuk.
Okay, we're on the same page here. Alexis, Rondell Moore is an option. Oh, that's the question. Again. Same thing. Still Kirk and Myers.
Yeah. Yep.
Question: need 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Michael Gallup, Alan Lazard, Cortland Sutton, and Damian
Pierce.
Have we?
So we're putting Pierce in the flex.
Yes, for sure. He's definitely in.
And then, oh man.
See, this is what scares me though with going with Sutton this week, because I'm gonna say this: like the Jets secondary, their outside. We kind of talk about this. Their outside corners have been really good. Like Sauce Gardner has been really good. Their slot is where you really want to attack them. I think we talked about this last week a little bit, but so like this, and then just the fact of how bad this passing offense has looked. Like it's like I think Alan Lazard is definitely an option, and I don't know. I think I would consider going Lazard over Cortland Sutton. I don't know. It's tough.
I have Sutton just above Alan Lazard in my rankings, but it is way, like, if you would have told me that week 7 we'd be sitting here like debating Alan Lazard versus Cortland Sutton, I don't think I would have believed you. But it is close. I do just slightly lean Sutton, but I feel like this could be the one that comes back to bite me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Lazard. You
don't have to pull my. You don't have to pull my leg for it. So if it helps us get consensus for it, I will also go Lazard.
Yeah, and then Pierce is a lock. Travis back in the chat. What's up, fellas? Josh Jacobs, Chubb, or Kenneth Walker? RB1. Man, I can only have one of these. I guess Chubb.
Yeah. I think we have them ranked this week: Chubbs, Jacobs, and Ken.
Yeah. Oh, never mind. I opened up my own. I was thinking of our ranking. I have Josh Jacobs at 8. I have Nick Chubb at 9. Personally. So yeah, actually, this matchup for Josh Jacobs is tremendous. Like we talked about on the running back show, like it is fantastic spot. They're 8-point favorites. Great. That's a great game script. If it goes to that for Josh Jacobs, you're not worried about getting game scripted out. He's seeing like 85% of the snaps and the 85% of the opportunities here in this offense. So I'm going to lead towards Josh Jacobs, but I think this is like feast or famine for Nick Chubb. It's like he either goes out and just absolutely annihilates the Ravens and goes for 200, or he just has a really rough game. So, but I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I slightly lean Chubb, but again, they're close enough for us that if I can definitely be convinced to put Jacobs there if that helps Travis.
Yeah. I have Adams and Carr for my wide receiver 2. Or I have Adams and Carr for wide receiver 2, Amon-Ra, Hopkins, or Godwin standard. So looking for the touchdown. I'm gonna go with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, give me the Sun God as well.
Kyle, Curtis Samuel, Alec Pierce, or Mooney at the flex.
I'm gonna go Alec Pierce.
Yeah, I agree. I guess. Yeah, it's just I like him. I like him as an option for sure, but I have him pretty close. I have Mooney at 33, and I have Alec Pierce at 32, so they're really close for me. But yeah, I'm gonna go Alec Pierce.
Yeah, I just think with oh my God, why can't I think of? But with Heineke, Jesus, with Heineke coming in, I don't know if Heineke has ever even had the opportunity to playing with Curtis Samuel. So I think we could finally see like the Terry McLaurin like target hog situation with Heineke in there.
Yeah. Mike, back with us. Thank you for the super chat. Always appreciated. Trade my Debo ETN for his Sanders and Lamb PPR 10 team. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, it's close, but I prefer the players that Mike is getting a smidge above. Like if we were doing rest of season rankings right now, I would have Lamb over Debo and Sanders over ETN.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I would take that trade. And then there's one more. Oh, Walito. What is up? Hey, Walito. Happy to have you. Happy to be back. I don't know where you were last week. You're forgiven. Happy you're back in the chat and rocking with us. You're not allowed to have days off. I don't know what that was. Just let it be known. It's a warning. Okay? Won't happen again. Appreciate you, Walito. As always. Alexis, is this how we were at? Yeah, it's the last one. Alexis got really lucky. I'm 2-4. I don't know if you can say lucky, but I don't have any of my starting players on bye week before week 10. So it's my chance to win and catch up for the next 3 weeks with no players on bye. Yeah.
Make a run.
Trade Jamal. He saw. Oh, that's the answer to the question the one we're talking about. Kyron Williams, RB3 or 2.
I mean, I think he's a fine stash for sure.
Yeah, and I think what they're expecting him to return after the bye, or at least I think they'll activate him, and so he'll have a 3-week window. I think is what it'll be.
Yeah.
I think that was the reports that they're planning on activating him, and then they'll have 3 weeks to bring him off IR after that. So he's definitely a really good stash at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Brown, would you trade away Kamara and AJ Brown for Saquon? No, I think that's too much.
Too much.
I love Saquon, and I'm happy that Saquon is killing it. But I think Kamara and AJ Brown, that's just too rich for me.
He could also add D-Hop to the trade. So Saquon and D-Hop. Kamara and AJ. Like, you have to get something else added to that. For just Saquon, that is too much. But
that I would
D-Hop,
do. If it was DeAndre Hopkins and Saquon, I would do that. If you're getting Saquon and D-Hop, yes.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Raylan, would you trade CD for Tyreek? Yes.
I think I would.
I mean, Tyreek has been elite this year.
I know he's been really good.
He has the one game.
C. Lamb has also been doing pretty well with Cooper Rush only throwing for 200 yards a game as well.
Yeah, I'd have to make that trade. Oh, hey, this must be the rest of his team, right? Yeah, that's the first question that he asked. Other wide receivers are AJ Brown, Chris Godwin,
I'll go
Alec Pierce, Devontae Smith. Running backs are Aaron Jones, Jeff Wilson, Eno, and Keenan Trey.
So this was: would you trade Chase for CMC?
Then yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Because you're still good. I mean, you still have AJ Brown, Chris Godwin. That is a really nice 1-2. Alec Pierce, Devontae Smith can intertwine. Running backs, you're pretty slippery slope here because Aaron Jones is pretty on and off, and then Jeff Wilson is about to be supplanted by Elijah Mitchell. I think they said that he's expected to return after their bye, and they go on bye. I think it's week 9. So week 10, Elijah Mitchell is expected to return, and so yes, Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson's actually a really, really good sell right now. I think too, because I think when Elijah Mitchell comes back, he's probably going to take over that job. And not to be mentioned that Jeff Wilson has a pretty tough 2 matchups. I think it's the Chiefs this week. We know that. And then from there, you have, I think it's the Rams, who've been really good against the run as well. So 2 really tough matchups coming up here for Jeff Wilson as well. So if you could trade him actually before this week, I think that's a pretty good move.
So
Josh.
this was the Eno versus Melvin.
Oh, this is other options.
Yeah. So I'm probably going Melvin.
Yeah, I think that's probably yeah. Old Junkie here. Need a wide receiver 2 to flex. Currently starting Alec Pierce and Pickens. Bench is CEH, Jamal Williams, Keenan Allen, Kirk, Curtis. Okay, yeah, we need to make some. I would go if Keenan Allen plays. I'm going to go Keenan Allen, and I would go Christian Kirk over Alec Pierce and Pickens.
Yeah, and if Keenan doesn't play, it'd be Kirk and Pierce.
Yes, I agree with that. Coop, Eckler, Derrick Henry, Fournette, Ramondre, Brees, and Ken Walker, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Pittman, D Hop, and Chris Olave. Jesus. Need two RB, 3 wide receivers, and 2 flex. Okay, so Eckler, Fournette for running back. 3 wide receivers are going to be Chase, CD, and Pittman. And then the 2 flexes, I would go Derrick Henry.
Ooh.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I would go Derrick Henry and
Henry and Brees for me.
Actually, if Damian Harris is out, I would go Ramondre and Derrick Henry.
Yeah, good call.
If Damian Harris plays, then I would go Brees.
Good call.
Man, Coop, this has got to be a tough decision every single week of who you're going to play here.
Yeah.
These are elite options.
At least you have the extra wide receiver and the extra flex spot to make it somewhat easier. Could you imagine how difficult that'd be if that was just 2, 2, and 1?
Yeah, that would be that would be tough. Anthony, trade JT McLaurin for Keenan Allen and Cook. I would not. I want the JT side of that.
Yeah, give me the best player in the deal and give me JT.
Yeah. Need a number 2 quarterback for this week, Matt Ryan or Mariota. So we got Matt Ryan going up against Tennessee, Mariota against Cincinnati. I'm going to go Matt Ryan, but it's really close. I have Matt Ryan at 14, and I have Marcus Mariota at 16.
Yeah, the Titans secondary has been pretty bad to start the year, so I'll leave Matt Ryan as well.
Who do I start at running back? RB1, RB2. Currently, Mostert and Najee starting. ETN, Rashad White are on the bench. So essentially, would you swap Mostert or Najee for ETN? I would. I would go Najee and ETN. Which is funny because I have ETN at 17, Najee at 19, and Mostert at 20.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well. Yep.
We already got that.
Yeah.
Our one constant Twitch person, Last Fish in the Pond. Nice to see you here, as always. I think the last couple of years, really appreciate it. Dad, only 15 inches in my survivor pool. Thinking Bucks or Miami. Any other better options so far? Have used Cleveland, Denver, Philly, Green Bay, San Francisco, and Rams.
Man, at least you used the Bucks last week, right?
I think I would go the Bucks here. I mean, I know that I had a little rough last week, but I just cannot imagine the Bucks losing to the Panthers, especially the state of the Panthers right now.
I'm just looking to see.
I mean, is Sam Darnold going to be starting quarterback this week?
He was designated to return.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means for this week. I mean, I think the Bucks are fine for sure. It's another case just like last week where this line opened up at 5.5 for the Bucks and has been bet all the way up to 10.5 point road favorites. Like the same thing that happened with the Steelers last week. Not saying like that's gonna like foretell another straight up loss. I was just looking through to see if there's maybe some other like lower options. He didn't use the Bengals yet, correct?
Yeah, no. Cleveland, Denver, Philly, Green Bay, San Francisco, and the Rams.
Like I think I would go. I think the Bengals win at home against the Falcons, especially if that secondary is going to be beat up for Atlanta. I think like the Bucks is just a team I'd want to hold on to if I can. Have the Raiders been used yet?
No.
I think I like the Raiders over Houston. Yeah, I think that's I would lean there. What about the Pats?
Yeah, that feels like a game that's I don't know, that game feels super ugly too. So
Yeah, that's I would think I would go there and try and hold on to the Bucks.
Emilio, Taysom Hill or Hawkinson at tight end. This is Hawkinson for me.
Yeah, I tried to go down that Taysom Hill road on the Sunday show and did not work.
That's what's going to be so frustrating with him is that he's going to have these weeks where he goes
and this
off
will end up being one of them.
But like it's going to be so few and far between because he's not really playing that many snaps. He has a little package that he runs for him, and that's going to be it. And so yes, while I get it on most instances, the tight end is pretty hit or miss. But he is going to be so hard to trust. You're going to play him a lot. And he's going to get you 2 or 3 fantasy points, and then all of a sudden he's going to go out for 25, and you're never going to know when to start him. Like to me, like I don't really want Taysom Hill because he's just never going to be a constant contributor to your team. And you're just never going to know when to play him. So I just think there's better, more consistent options out there than Taysom Hill. So I would go Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Raylan, should I trade Chubb for McCaffrey or JT? Or just keep Chubb to... I mean, if you have the option, I would trade him for both. Either one. If I had to pick, I would go McCaffrey. I would go McCaffrey. It's really close between the two of them. But I would trade him for either one of them. But I would go McCaffrey then JT. But it's super close between the both of them.
Yep.
Because I actually think Watson coming back could end up hurting Nick Chubb more than it helps him. Because of his own rushing ability and his own ability to run. But that's still ways away. Ronnie, hello there. Hello, Ronnie. Start 3 wide receivers and 1 flex. Keenan Allen, Metcalf, Dobbs, Wandale. Who's that? John Reynolds? Is that Josh Reynolds? Maybe?
Good pull. Good pull.
So I'm gonna go Keenan Allen as long as he plays, Metcalf, and Romeo Dobbs.
I'm gonna go Keenan, Metcalf, and Wandale. And at the flex, man, Drake. Dobbins did not practice today.
Yeah, if J.K. Dobbins is out, I would go Kenny Drake. Yes.
So the only thing that we were different on was Dobbs versus Robinson.
Yeah. Emmy, appreciate seeing you here. My running backs are JT, Brian Robinson, ETN, Walker, Pierce, and Stevenson. Judy, Bateman, Pickens, Dobbs, Gallup. Do I make a trade? Hill for Hill or Godwin and Higgins?
I mean, I definitely think you need the wide receiver help. But I think if you're going after a Hill, a Godwin, or a Higgins, then you're now going to make yourself probably weak at running back, right? Because it's probably going to take Walker and Pierce, Pierce and Stevenson. Like, it's going to take two of those running backs for sure. I don't know that I would do.
You might actually be able to do like a Stevenson or maybe like a Higgins or a Godwin because their value is not nearly as high. Like Chris Godwin's like wide receiver 57 right now. And so like I think like that's where I would start. Like I'm not going to straight. And if I was going to package, I would try to do like Stevenson and Brian Robinson.
Right.
Something like that. For like I said, you're not going to get Tyreek unless you're planning on giving up like. I think Pierce and Walker would get it done, but I really don't want to do that. Like you're giving up quite a bit there of your running backs, and you have really strong running backs. So you're dealing from a position of strength. I could definitely see you need wide receivers for sure with the wide receivers that you have, but I think you can make it happen with like I said, Stevenson, Brian Robinson. You get it done for like a T. Higgins or a Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
Do I pull the plug on Melvin Gordon? Bro has been performing and really disappointing. I mean, sure, but like, what are you doing? Are you just cutting him? Are you trying to release? You can't drop him, in my opinion. And so, I think you just hold him for now and see what happens. McCorn Doggy, non PPR league traded McCaffrey, Mike Williams, and DK. Got Jamar and Dalvin. Have Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs already. We traded McCaffrey, Mike Williams, and DK. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I definitely want McCaffrey over Dalvin Cook. But then giving up Mike Williams and DK Metcalf for Jamar.
Yeah, I think it's a little heavy.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's an awful trade. Like
no,
I don't think you got hosed. Like if I had to, would I give up Mike Will and DK for Jamar? I would, but obviously we want McCaffrey pretty easily over Dalvin. So I mean, I think it's fine, but I'd want the McCaffrey side.
Yeah, Emmy, you're right there with us with our Stevenson and Pierce / Robinson. Yeah, not Pierce. I do not want to give up Damian Pierce. He has been a legitimate top 12 running back over the last outside of the bye week, but his last 2 or 3 games, like he's played really, really well, and so I do not want to give up Damian Pierce.
Bateman and Pierce for Hill. I can get down with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to get it done though, unless the person is like absolutely desperate for a running back.
Yeah.
Sammy Boy, pick one to drop: Alec Pierce or Woods. I guess Robert Woods.
Robert Woods, baby.
Same. Start 2: Mostert, Najee, or Jeff Wilson. I'm gonna go with the first 2.
First 2. Yep. I don't like the game script for Jeff.
Yeah. How about Matt Collins?
How about him?
Yeah. How about Porter? He's there.
How about him?
I mean, he's fine. I know he had that really big blow up game. That's not going to happen again. And I mean, he's still like 3rd or 4th in the pecking order of getting targets. And so, I think he's fine.
Yeah.
Robert Tonyan to start. Yeah, I think he's top 12 tight end this week. Bam first. 2 questions. PPR: McLaurin or Bateman?
McLaurin.
Is Bateman gonna play this week? Does he look? He's questionable? He didn't get in practice today. He returned to practice today, so that is good news. I would go Bateman over McLaurin. And tight end on bye, Auten, Bellinger, Dulcich, or Juwan. Okay, we could cross off Juwan Johnson from the 3.
So
For this week.
These are 3 that you rattled off.
Yep. For the 3, I have Daniel Bellinger as 12. I have Cade Auten at 13. And I have Dulcich, I think, at like 16 or 17. Let me see. Yes, I have him at 16. I would slightly lean Daniel Bellinger, but I do think Cade Auten is also a really strong option. I think the last time he started when Brate was out, I think he had 7 targets, 6 catches, and like 50 yards. So I do think that he is a pretty strong option as well.
Yeah, I would go Auten just slightly over Bellinger.
Yeah. Okay. Matt, I got Eckler, Mixon, Jacobs, and Breece Hall. My wide receivers are Godwin, Tyreek, and Ertz at tight end, and drafted Stafford at quarterback. What trade recommendations? I also have Mike Williams on 10-team bench. So your running backs are fire. Your wide receivers are really nice, especially with Godwin starting to come back more into his own. Tight end, I think you're good. I think your one area is quarterback. Problem is, I hate trading for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Matt, who are you playing this week? Because obviously Stafford is on bye.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what other quarterbacks are out there. Because Stafford has just been brutal.
Not great, Bob.
Sammy, pick 3 to start. Sutton, Keenan, Kirk, and Rondell. I'm going to go first 3.
First 3. Yep. Still first 3.
Yeah, okay. That didn't change anything.
Oh, we already got this one.
Yeah.
I recognize that mug from the Twitch question. Yeah, guys, we are in true TFA fashion running about a half hour behind, so we will get to your questions if you
How did we get that? I thought we've been running smooth. Man, went it quick.
They're coming in hot and heavy, man. Amon Thompson, Mike Williams for Godwin.
Yes.
Godwin side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not an idiot. Like it wasn't a terrible. Like it wasn't like, oh my god, you got hammered on that trade. I probably would have preferred Christian McCaffrey. If someone just would have showed me, like I would have wanted the Christian McCaffrey side. Let me ask you, Corey. Why did you want to make the trade? Like, what in your mind made you feel like it was a good trade? Because at the end of the day, it's really all that matters. Because I mean, I could see it. I mean, Jamar Chase is definitely going to be the more consistent of the Mike Williams and DK Metcalf. And if Geno Smith turns back into Geno Smith and stops, performing as a top 10 quarterback, DK Metcalf is going to lose some value. And then Mike Williams with Keenan Allen is going to lose some value because he's going to lose some targets. Though I do think it'll help the overall offense. But with Keenan Allen returning, it's going to hurt Mike Williams a little bit. So getting Jamar Chase and then Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, the hard thing about him is he just hasn't really played as much like Dalvin Cook as what we're typically seeing. He hasn't been bad. I think his snap share bounced back a little bit this past week than where it was the week before. Yeah, back up to 85% of the snaps after he played 56% of the snaps the week before. But he still only saw 13 carries. He's not running. He only ran 10 routes, which isn't great. And then he saw the 83 yards of the touchdown. The touchdown obviously saved his day. And the games that he's not scoring touchdown, he hasn't been really great. So he's kind of touchdown dependent. He's not seeing the same, but this is also that's a standard league. So the passing game isn't really as big of a deal between the two of them. So, and honestly, Dalvin Cook's in better offense. And so, I think the trade could actually work out for you. I think if things go well.
Agreed. Infamous Mel, kicker and defense both have buys this week. Should I drop them and pick up free agents?
I think it really depends because I in my own not that anybody cares about my fantasy leagues, but and one of my home league, I have the Eagles, and I really don't want to drop them. They've been fantastic, and their schedule after their bye is fantastic. And so, if you can afford it, if you have really big benches, I think you could keep your defense. I don't think kicker's that big of a deal unless you have like Justin Tucker or something crazy like that. But anybody else, I think you could drop them because I don't really want to drop positional players that I think that can help your team just to add a kicker and a defense, right? And so I think it really just depends on who you have, and so.
Give me 1 second because Travis asked that question right after. I'm going to see if Mel answered. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Yeah, and the other thing with dropping both of them to pick up. Oh, okay. See, I was thinking to pick up like running back, wide receiver, free agents. That's what I thought the question was asking. So I was just going to say that if you drop them and you pick up, a running back, wide receiver, whatever, then next week you're likely eventually going to have to fill those spots again, right? So I like you said, I think it depends on who you have. Kicker doesn't really matter though. RD, let's go. CH or Olave for the flex.
I'm gonna go Olave here.
Olave for me as well, and then Giants or Raiders D, and I'm going to go with the Raiders.
I agree. Yep, I'll go the same thing. Porter, I saw your question here, Travis. Do I start Broncos tight end, not Alberto Dolchich? I think it really just depends on what the other options are. But yes, I think he is certainly in play.
He brought up Tanyan earlier. I'm assuming it's the same league, but you have Tanyan over Dulcich. Correct?
Yeah. I would go Tanyan over Dolchich, yes.
That's why I skipped over that one. Alec Pierce, Kirk, or Rondale. It would be
Kirk.
Kirk. Man, I think I have Rondale and Pierce super close, but it would be Kirk. How deadly of a wide receiver trio is AJ Brown, Diggs, and Amon-Ra, Gabe Davis off the bench. That is.
And I think you didn't get a response because people thought you were just trying to break out the guns and just flex on people. No, yeah. I don't know. Our fault if no one did, but yes, that is really, really, really nice trio of wide receivers: AJ Brown, Diggs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, that is very, very nice. And then you have Gabe Davis on the bench. A lot of people like Gabe Davis might be their wide receiver 2 or 3. So you are in a very good spot with your wide receivers.
Richie needs some help here. 1-5. Don't know what I can do. Geno Smith, JT, Saquon, Mike Williams, Godwin, Ertz, Fournette. On the bench, we have Hollywood, Olave, Ayuk, Dylan, Herbert, Knox, Gallup, and Cousins.
Man, how? But then again, I guess JT's been out for most of the year, so that hasn't really been helping.
Mike Williams has been up and down. Godwin has been injured.
Well, I think one thing that you can certainly say is now you're finally going to get to unleash the JT Saquon duo, so that is good news. I definitely wouldn't give up. I don't think you're at that point yet. I mean, I think we're only halfway through the season, so I definitely think you can turn it around. I think you have a lot of solid options. Some things that I think you could look to do is it sucks with Hollywood because he's out for at least 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, a month, something like that. So that he's not going to help you.
Gallup obviously doesn't have a ton. I mean, maybe you could look to send Herbert off to the Monty owner, see if you can do something there, see if they want to take the handcuff. Because with JT, Saquon, and Fournette, outside of injury, you're not starting Herbert over any of those 3. Right? So I think, even if Monty goes down, Herbert becomes the lottery ticket, still going to have a hard time getting Herbert into that lineup, outside of buys and injuries. So maybe you could package Herbert with Mike Williams, try and get an upgrade at wide receiver, because I think when Keenan comes back, Mike Williams is going to potentially take a hit. But other than that, I think that's just really bad luck. I'm assuming, between the injuries with some of your team, probably ran into a couple buzzsaws a couple of the weeks where you were just outscored, even though you put up good weeks. So there's like nothing like really stands out except I would want like another, wide receiver 2-ish option there.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, maybe you don't do anything because you're kind of getting everybody back at the right time. I mean, outside of Hollywood, but that's not going to kill you because now you're getting JT back this week. So you have JT and Saquon, and Fournette. So really, I mean, that is an amazing one. Top 3 running back options that you're going to be rocking there every week. Yes, wide receiver, but Chris Godwin I think is only going to continue to get better. Olave is going to have a lot of really good weeks moving forward. Ayuk is starting to get it coming to his own as well, and so I think you have
Yeah,
a lot of options here. Like I wouldn't probably change anything. I mean, yeah, maybe quarterback because I just don't know how much you can trust Smith like moving forward. But then you have Cousins sitting there as well, who you could just run matchups at that point. So
Tam needs a QB replacement this week only. Options are Tanny, Mariota, Danny Dimes, Mills, Trubisky, and Heineke.
like I think
Mariota.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'll go Mariota here.
Yeah. Jimmy G or Trevor Lawrence is going to be T-Law for me.
Yeah, I have Trevor Lawrence as a top 10 quarterback this week.
Danny Dimes or Mariota. I'm going to go Mariota again.
I'm going to go Daniel Jones.
Don't do it.
I have DJ at
don't say it.
At 13. Mariota at 16.
E.T. a TFA fam. Hello, E.T. Should I start Sutton given Russia struggles or Alec Pierce in the flex? I do like Pierce this week, but I'm not sure that I can get there.
No, you have to go. You go Sutton here.
Cade got Ken traded Najee.
Crazy that right now we're like, oh, that's hey, good job. That's not bad. That's not bad. Najee's just been so bad this year. I mean,
yeah,
their offense has been so bad. Outside of this past week, I guess Chase Claypool. Do you think he's gonna get traded?
I would like to see it just for George Pickens' sake.
Here's what I think. Nobody's gonna get traded. Like we're doing this because we do this every year with the NFL, and like these rumors start coming out, and all these players and all this stuff, people get all excited. Nothing is going to happen. Robbie Anderson is going to be the highlight of whatever trade deadline for the NFL. It's so hard to trade in the NFL to make all the contracts work and all this stuff. It just never happens. Like my guess is nobody's going to get traded. Chris McCaffrey's not going to get traded. DJ Moore is not going to get traded. Brian Burns is not going to get traded. Like all the names that have been kind of floated out there, nobody's going anywhere. Everybody's going to stay, in my opinion.
Monty or Raheem in a half PPR. I'm going to go Monty there.
Agree. I would go that as well.
Would you trade Kirk for Terry?
No.
Neither would I. Is Will Dissly a start or sit? Porter, if this is for the same team, we're still rocking with Tanyan at tight end there for you. Keenan Allen or St. Brown in a PPR. That is going to be the sun god for both of us. CHB traded Scary Terry for Lazard. How would you grade that? I think they're even, but Lazard had higher upside. Other receivers are Tyreek and Monra, Dobbs, and my 2 sleepers are Thornton and your boy, Kev, Jameson Williams.
I think it's like a B plus because like Terry McLaurin, I think Terry McLaurin is a really good wide receiver. I think he could be like a top 10, top 12 wide receiver. It's in the NFL, but his quarterbacks suck, and they've sucked every year of his career. And like I don't think he's actually a bad player, but his numbers have never. His hype has always been higher than what he's ever actually done in the NFL. And again, a lot of it's quarterback related. But Taylor Heineke is now back at the quarterback position. And I don't think people are going to say that they think this is some sort of upgrade over Carson Wentz. It's not. And
I don't necessarily think it's an upgrade. I just think we could see the more targets get funneled toward him. Just like more
maybe,
opportunity.
but I mean, we saw him last year, and he was not good last year. I mean, with and they had nobody else there to throw the ball to him, or nobody else there to take targets away from him, really. And he still only averaged 12.6 fantasy points per game last year, which was 29th. And now this year, you have a much more crowded situation. Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson will return, and Logan Thomas will return, and so there's just so many other options there on a really bad offense. And so unless they're going to throw the ball 50 times a game, it's just hard to see him really pay off. So Lazard and this gets staring down the barrel of being the wide receiver one for the Packers and tethered to Aaron Rodgers. I will take that all day.
Porter, if you can start letting us know what other options you have, that'd be helpful instead of just trying to say yes or no to some of these plays. So let us know who you are debating between. Walito has a question: Cade Otton or Marquez Callaway in the flex? What are we doing here?
Of course, it's Marquez Callaway. For Walito and his Saints love. I would go Cade Otton.
Yeah. Pig's feet, 2-4 half PPR, trading Jeff Wilson and Mike Williams for Monty and Judy. Am I crazy? I have Mixon, Herbert, Jones, Cooper, Pitts, Mahomes, and Garrett Wilson.
No, I don't mind this.
No?
I think the Bears have like the third or fourth easiest remaining running back schedule on the season, I think is what it is. And so Montgomery's in a really good spot. He seems to now they've said that they're going to what did he come out and say? Eberflus come out and said that it's going to be a committee moving forward, and they're going to start splitting touches and playing the hot hand, I think is what they called it, which is the most frustrating thing in the world. But Jeff Wilson could end up losing his job in a couple of weeks. So,
yeah, yep, that's where I was going with that one as well. Gallo, Ramondre, Etienne, Zeke, B-Rob, Hunt. We need 2 in a full PPR.
I'm going to go Ramondre and Zeke. And I would go Ramondre even if Damian Harris plays in the situation with the guys you have.
Over Etienne?
Yes. Because, Ramondre, even whenever Damian Harris was playing, he was still playing like 55% of the snaps. I mean, he was still kind of the lead guy.
Noel, good to see Noel in here. Start 1 full PPR. Kirk, Ayuk, or Gallup. I have Dak if that matters. Don't really want to start Christian Kirk after the past few weeks. I'm still going Christian Kirk. I know it's been frustrating, but what was the Philly game 2 weeks ago? I think it's like
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. So obviously gets a pass for that one. Did find the end zone last week.
Yeah, it wasn't a great yardage day, 4 for 24. Obviously, it's not as good as what the first 3 weeks were, but I think he'll be fine. And so I would still go Christian Kirk here. For me,
yeah. Bad sport. In a PPR, should I pick up Kyron Williams and trade Henderson for Christian Kirk? I would do that.
Yeah, I think you can do that.
Emilio, would you drop Taysom Hill for Patty Fry, Evan Ingram, or Hayden Hurst?
I think you could for Evan Ingram or Patty Fry. Honestly, I think both of them are viable. I think season long, I would still probably lean towards Patty Fry, but and it would go Patty Fry, Ingram, and Hurst for me.
Yeah. Anime needs a wide receiver 2 and a flex in another league. Currently, Dobbs and Juju starting. Options are Robbie Anderson, Pickens, and Rashad. I'm keeping that.
Well, they at least need. Oh, never mind. Okay, I see what they're saying. Okay, never mind. I read that wrong. I was thinking that's 2 wide receivers and a flex, but never mind. Yep, I would keep it like that.
Mr. Wong, speaking of Taysom, our commissioner advised our league that we cannot play him as a tight end. Can only play him as a QB. Thoughts? I mean, I don't.
I get it. Like, to me, the way I've always felt about it, because I get it. Because I remember when this happened a couple of years ago, when Taysom Hill was listed, I think, as a tight end, and you were able to, it was listed as tight end. You could play him as a tight end. Essentially, what it did is if you had him in your tight end spot, because they changed him, they flipped him to a quarterback, but then you could still, as long as you had him in your tight end spot, you could play him there. But you couldn't make another move. Like, literally, you couldn't move anybody out of your roster. You couldn't. Your roster was locked. You couldn't pick anybody up. You couldn't even change your roster around, and unless you moved them out, as the way that worked. But yes, it was an absolute cheat code because he was scoring like 29, 30 points a week as a quarterback. So it was. But I mean, if that's what your commish says, I guess to me, that should be like it should be something that's clarified beforehand, in my opinion, because we've seen this before. It's a little bit different. It was like, this has been years ago, but I think it was Ty Montgomery who was listed as he was listed as a wide receiver, and he was actually playing running back for the Packers. Back whenever he played for the Packers, and you could play him at wide receiver, so you could actually start an extra running back out of it. And it was kind of a very similar situation. Obviously, it's a little bit different. Being able to play a tight end that's playing quarterback is such a huge advantage. But to my eyes, like, you're still limiting yourself because you can't do anything else. Like, you literally have to leave them. You leave your lineup alone, and you can't touch it. If it's for a couple of weeks, it's one thing. But if you're talking about you can't make any move, bye weeks are here, so players are on bye. Like, it forces you. Like, if you're going to stick with it, you're just going to ride it out. And so, to me, I don't think people should be making those rules. And if it should be set in advance. It shouldn't be all of a sudden somebody saying something about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yahoo will kind of take care of that on their own. I don't understand why the commissioner thought that was necessary. Because the only way that's really going to affect you is if it comes out like Taysom Hill was like the starting quarterback, right? Like that's going to be the big issue, because it's not like Taysom Hill's been having a couple of attempts here and there, but it's not like he's coming out rushing the ball 8 times a game and throwing 10 pass attempts. So I don't know, just seems a little unnecessary to me. Noel wants to know, would you trade Ayuk and Kirk for Jalen Waddle?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would do that as well. Would you hold Kirk, try to trade him before he possibly loses him? Noel hates Christian Kirk. Hasn't been the same. Who are some people I could target? Could package him with Ayuk. I mean, if you can do that trade above, I would definitely try and do that.
I mean, if somebody's offering you that, sure, yep, go ahead. But like, it's going to be tough, I think, to make that move with those two. But we'll see. I think it's not a bad trade.
Slammy, who do you think is more of a wide receiver 1, Keenan Allen or Mike Evans?
Well, Mike Evans.
Mike Evans, but they're closer for me than they are for Kev. Dropped MG3 for Robbie Anderson. Is that a bad move?
Yes. Robbie Anderson's not any good. I don't think him going to Arizona is going to make it a good move for him. He's just more of a deep threat. He's going to be really hit or miss. He's not really going to be a great move for this week anyway, because he's going to be extremely limited. I mean, he doesn't even know this playbook. It's going to take him some time. And Christian Kirk really hasn't been – Christian Kirk. Kyler Murray hasn't really played that well this year. He hasn't everything's been very short intermediate. They're not really taking a ton of deep targets on the season. Or he's not been very good at the deep ball, let me put it that way, on the year. Obviously, they give him a different dimension here. with losing Hollywood Brown, because that's kind of what Hollywood Brown was able to do, is be the field stretcher. So why he's out there. But I just don't think that he is going to be what people think that he's going to be.
Yeah. It'll be very hit and miss, very, very boom bust. It'll be like, a Taysom Hill situation where he goes off for 20 points. You try and plug him into your lineup, and then he just gives you a dud. Brian Costa, PPR trade Hawkinson for ETN. I have Patty Fry on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
Jay Will, who should I start in my flex? Boyd, Duvernay, Murray, Carter, and Elijah Moore.
I'm going to go Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd for me as well. Gibson or Pollard? That's going to be Tony Pollard for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Bruneel, between Bateman, Renfro, and Dillon, which two do I start? Bateman, wide receiver 2. Start right now, Renfro in the flex. Diggs, McKenzie, Goddard on buys.
I think we'll go Renfro, especially with Darren Waller looking like he may not play.
Yeah. Yep. Need one here from Porter, Disley, Tonyan, or the I don't know if he's a Denver backup at this point now. You're probably looking at the Denver starter with Dulcich, but this is going to be Robert Tonyan. Brandon Williams, McLaurin, Juju, Adam Thielen, Darren Waller, Brandon Cooks, all on waivers. I want to drop Pickens. Wow.
So I think Brandon, you actually asked this earlier in one of the videos, because I asked about who your tight end was, and I can't remember who you said, but it was Taysom Hill, I believe. Man, my memory is so good. But so my thing with Darren Waller is, like, when he's healthy and he's on the field, like, he's a top 5 tight end, and those are really hard to come by. Of all these options you have here, like, I guess it would either be Darren Waller or probably Brandon Cooks. I don't think I can trust, like I said, Terry McLaurin. And this is obviously a pretty deep league if all these guys are sitting out there. And so, like, Darren Waller's kind of, to me, is kind of the unicorn of these, because when he's healthy, it's such a big separator to have this kind of a tight end versus any of these other guys. Like, none of these other guys, if you don't pick them up, it's like you're going to feel like you got burnt.
Right.
Where Darren Waller could be that guy. But Darren Waller also has to stay healthy, which is not something he's been able to do the last few years either. So,
yeah, I mean, if he ends up playing this week, well, I mean, obviously we're not going to know that because of, if it is Taysom Hill and him playing tomorrow night, that's not going to help. But I think I would drop Pickens for Juju, ride with Taysom Hill this week, and then you can drop Taysom and then pick up Darren Waller. Gator, I'm starting Chubb and Henry in my running backs. Brandon Cooks at 1 wide receiver. Damian Pierce in 1 flex. 1 more wide receiver, 1 more flex out of Dillon, Renfro, Wilson, Bateman, Moore, and Connor.
I'm going to go with Bateman and Hunter Renfro.
I'm going to go Bateman and Rondale. Moises Alou. Help me pick my 2 wide receivers, please. Juju, Pierce, Dotson, Claypool, Pickens. It's going to be the first 2.
Yep.
Randy, should I trade Deontay Johnson for ETN? Yes. I'd rather have ETN at this point.
Walito, you have one job.
We're getting spammed.
Yeah. See, this is what, you know.
Are you trading Deontay for ETN?
Yeah, I would.
Boom. Aquaman. Pickens or Boyd in a half PPR.
I'm going to go George Pickens.
I will go Tyler Boyd. Anyway, would you take this trade? I give Dak and Pitts for Tua and Damian Pierce. I have TJ Hawk and Justin Herbert. I mean, anyway, if this is not a super flex league, like I don't want to get another quarterback in return.
I wouldn't either, but I definitely want Damian Pierce. So even if you had to accept it, I mean, you can just whatever and just drop him. But if this is a two, I'm guessing it's a 2 quarterback. But if it's I agree.
Crab Gravy, you dropping White or Herbert to make room for a defense this week? And I have Monty.
I don't want to drop either one of them.
Yeah, I would not either. Just because I wouldn't want to run the risk of dropping one of them and then, Monty goes down, Fournette goes down, and you did it for a defense. So I would just, as long as it's not considered an illegal roster in your league, I wouldn't drop either of them. Darren Waller can't go. Which tight end in a PPR? Otten, Juwan Johnson, or Dulcich? Got a lot of these questions tonight. And that is going to be Cade Otten for both of us.
Yeah.
Ty Douglas, do I play Amon-Ra against my Dallas D? I think no, and I say yes.
Absolutely. You absolutely don't care about that. You don't sit your, especially players like Amon-Ra St. Brown who can just absolutely go
And
nuclear.
especially not for Rondell Moore.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Like, and your defense, like all you care about anyway is them being able to get sacks, them being able to, interceptions, pick six. Like all those things are independent of what Amon-Ra St. Brown can do.
Have a full PPR trade here. Got JT and Amon-Ra for DJ Moore and CMC. Yes. Dub. It's a dub.
Yeah, that's actually, yes. Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah. Kind of flipping between JT and CMC and then Amon-Ra, massive upgrade over DJ Moore. Would you drop Geno for Tua? Or I can drop Ingram for Tua, have TJ Hawk. I would drop Geno for Tua. I think this Geno thing fizzles out at some point.
I did too. Yeah. I would rather have Tua.
CB needs 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a quarterback, and a flex. So let's set this lineup. So Geno Smith and Tua, like we were just talking about, I'd rather have Tua this week. Then at running back, we have Pierce, Swift. If he plays, he should. Wilson, Walker, Hall. Jeez. So Swift, because it looks like Swift will play, so we're locking him in.
And I'm gonna go Damian Pierce.
I'm gonna go Pierce as well. 2 wide receivers, Amon-Ra, Olave, Waddle. So that's gonna be Amon-Ra and Waddle. And then let's throw.
I'm gonna go Breece Hall.
Breece Hall. Yep. Dak or Tua. That's going to be Dak. When is it safe to pick up Odell? I mean, he's still looking at a November return, right? So
Mid-November, yeah.
Yeah, so we're still a couple of weeks away.
At least, or even a month. I mean, it's almost a month away.
Yeah. So
the thing is, too, like, even when he comes, like, we have to keep in mind that even once he comes back, like, it's going to take him time to learn the offense and figure everything out, right? And, like, there's a lot of fire right now, but, like, is it the Chiefs? Chiefs declared $3.5 million. Travis Kelce on his podcast today said that they're doing it for a reason. It's not just for this. Like, he expects a move's going to happen. And then they asked about Odell, and he was kind of like playing coy about it. Like, I don't know. Like, is it going to be him? But he said it's either going to be that or something else is going to come. But if it is, like, the Andy Reid offense is a very, very hard one to pick up, and it's going to take a long time for him to pick all this up. So I wouldn't expect if he goes to the Chiefs, like, it's going to be a crowded situation. Like, mainly anywhere he probably goes, it's going to take him a long time. So I don't know if he's ever really going to be worth it. Like, you're ever going to want to, like, just automatically plug and play him. So if you want to pick him up as a speculative ad, you can if you have enough bench spots, but I'm not like rushing out to think that you have to add Odell Beckham.
Yeah. Cubanito, trade Ayuk and Mostert for ETN. Need running back. Other wide receivers are JJ Sutton. JJ St. Brown, Lazard, McKenzie, and McLaurin. So trade Ayuk and Mostert for ETN.
The thing is, though, you're already trading a running back. And you're trading a running back in Raheem Mostert, who is handling like 70% of the snaps right now. Is this going to end up blowing up and he's going to end up getting hurt like he does almost every year? Certainly possible. But I mean, he's been playing, 70%, almost 70% of the snaps going all the way back to, week 4. He's seeing a lot of usage. He is a little bit touchdown dependent because he's not seeing any sort of targets. So I don't mind it, but understand that you're not Travis Etienne, we're still betting that he is at some point going to kind of take over here. But James Robinson's not going away either.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a big upgrade, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I'm holding there. 661 BZ, wide receiver 2 in a flex. Lazard, Nico Collins, or Curtis.
Lazard for sure. And then I'm going to go with Curtis Samuel.
Me too. Lucius. Good to see Lucius in here. What to do with Aaron Jones? Buy, sell, trade, target. I mean, I think it comes down to you personally. Like, if you think Aaron Jones is going to bounce back, I think he is a good buy. A good buy low. But this offense just been so up and down. Just hasn't been a great offense. And if you're trying to sell him, like I just don't know what you get back in return right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have the same value, but I do think he's a buy. If you look at all of his other metrics, like, he's been good. It's just been opportunity driven, and his touchdowns haven't been great. He does have 2 of them. Hasn't scored any, but he is 13th in yards created per touch. He is 4th in true yards per carry, 7th in breakaway run rate. He's also 28th in yards per route run. He's 16th he's 9th in routes run total on the year. He's actually 8th in rushing yards and 16th in receiving yards. It's just been touchdowns haven't really been fantastic so far to start the year, but he's still been the efficient running back we've always seen him. And so I do think that he is actually a pretty decent buy low, because they're gonna figure this out a little bit here, and it kind of starts to feel like we're gonna see a little bit of like a squeaky wheel narrative, because we've been kind of hearing a lot of speculation of why they're not using him more than what they have been, and I could see that where this kind of flips a little bit here. So I do think Aaron Jones is actually a pretty solid buy, because right now his fantasy points per game are 13.4, which is 19th among all running backs. So this is a buy low opportunity, I think, for Aaron Jones.
Uncle Mike. Appreciate the super chats, guys. Always appreciate it. Thank you so much. Trade Tyreek and Waller for Damian Pierce and Godwin. Running backs are Najee, Mostert, Gordon, and Dillon. Wide receivers are Chase, Hill, Sutton, and Dobbs. What are the thoughts?
I think you make that trade. I mean, Damian Pierce has the potential, and I think the upside to be like a top 10, top 12 running back rest of season. He's just going to continue to get opportunity. And like I said, this really, like I said this before the season started, this felt very much like a James Robinson situation a couple of years ago, where he ends up just being the guy in the offense, and that's really what he looks like so far to start. Really, over the last couple of weeks, they have continued to just feed him the football, and he has produced. I mean, he played 76% of the snaps against Jacksonville. He's been a top 10 scoring running back for his last 3 weeks that he's played, and oh yeah, he's seen 11 targets over the last 2 games as well. So now he's being mixed in as a pass catcher. So yes, I want Damian Pierce. And if you're needing running back, like I think he's definitely an option. You're getting Chris Godwin back, who could be a top 15 wide receiver the rest of season as well. And so, yeah, I'm making that move.
Who do we flex here for anime? Currently has Zay Jones in there. Options are MG3, Herbert, Jeff Wilson, Garrett Wilson, and Curtis Samuel.
This I would go with Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, Kansas City run defense has not been very good. So if San Fran can keep it close, you're looking at way more touches and opportunity for Wilson than anyone else there. T-Hawk or Tanyan, full PPR for Ronnie?
Hawkinson.
Our guy Isaac rocking with us. I have Tyreek, Chase, and Godwin, wide receiver. Really lack at running back. As of now, my only good RB is Brees. Trying to see if Isaac said anything else after this. I mean, I think you can get by. I mean, depending on who your RB2 is, Isaac, like I think you can get by with that with those wide receivers and with Brees has obviously like the takeovers happen. This is his backfield, so I mean, I think you can get by with that. Like I'm not entirely sure that I would want to trade one of those wide receivers just to try and make up make up some position there at running back. Because I'm sure, right, if we were to go do rest of season rankings, Brees would be like right around that RB1, RB2 range. So I think you can get by. Assuming if this is Damian Pierce, it's Damian Pierce 007-ish. If this is Alec Pierce, I would go Ayuk. Jacob Onder. Should I trade Dobbins for Drake London and PPR? I have Barkley, Henry Fournette, J-Rob as my other RBs. I really wanted Dobbins to be a thing this year, but I'm assuming if you're doing that, you can use wide receiver help, and I think I'm making that trade.
Yeah, I think I am too. I think we just hope that J.K. Dobbins can stay healthy the rest of the year. I don't expect great things. We talked about this before. Like running backs coming off ACL injuries are just really hard to trust, and most of them don't bounce back year one. Usually, it's year two from this injury where you really start to see them start to look like themselves again.
James, appreciate the super chat, my man. QB, Matt Ryan. RB, Pierce. Running back 2 is Ken. Then we have St. Brown, Alec Pierce, Njoku, Aaron Jones at the flex. Pickens at the other flex. Kicker, got a defense. On the bench, we have Jalen Hurts, Etienne, Judy, Taysom Hill, Kyle Pitts. 5 and 7, any moves I need to make? mean, I would want a better wide receiver.
I'm trying to see here, like, just like picturing how this would have played out in a draft. Because, like, who did you take as who was your first overall pick? Like, I don't see anybody here that I would have, like, even in the first couple of rounds. Maybe made some trades or something like that. Very possible. Because I
Yeah, I
don't
mean, I
think it's
think
terrible,
with
though, either way. Because, I mean, like I said, we just talked about Dameon Pierce when I think about him. Like, I think he is solid rest of the season. Kenneth Walker, same thing. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be really good.
Njoku's been playing really well.
Aaron Jones, I think, like we just talked about, has bounced back. Like, I think if I'm going to make some moves, I think it's with your bench, right? Because we don't, like, I get it with Njoku and Kyle Pitts. Like, what are you going to do with that? My mind is maybe maybe try to trade one of these tight ends, just because I don't think, obviously, we don't you don't need 2 tight ends unless it's tight end premium. You don't really need 2.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
mean,
going to get?
I would try and package like one of those bench spots, whether it's ETN, Judy, and then one of those tight ends, and see if you can upgrade at wide receiver. Because running out, Alec Pierce is a wide receiver too. You already have Pickens in the flex. Like I want to get a better wide receiver 2 option in there. But other than that, I think it's solid. I think it's a solid lineup.
Yeah, I think we just need. I think it's a few changes here and there. I think can go a long way. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is on bye, so I was going to say what quarterback, and then I realized you have Jalen Hurts. So, then once the bye's over with, you don't have to worry about the rest of the year. You just go ahead and drop Matt Ryan and keep playing the waiver wire. But yeah, I think I still think it's a really solid roster. You lucked into the 2 running backs with Dameon Pierce and Kenneth Walker, but them really paid off. And then Aaron Jones, I think, actually can, like I said, be somebody that I think bounces back in a big way over the second half.
Let's see what we got here. I'll leave that one.
I'm also curious, James, like just while you're looking at that, who are some of the players that are available? Like, who are some of the top players available on waivers? If you're still in here. Oh, you are. You just responded. So yeah, let me know. Let us know who some of your top waiver options are here in your league at running back and wide receivers. Some of the top names. Because I think guys at wide receiver, I really like stashing Tyquan Thornton if he's sitting out there. He looked really good in his second game back from the injury that he had. And this is a team that is really missing a lot of doesn't really have a lot of weapons anyways in their passing game inside of Jacoby Myers. So I've been adding him where I can. I think he's somebody that definitely you can be looking to add. If Wan'Dale Robinson is sitting out there, he should be added. I think there's a lot of good options sitting out there that maybe you might be able to have an opportunity. So let us know, and I'll keep an eye on the chat, see if you respond on that.
All right. Then Ty Douglas for your tight end question. That is going to be Cade Otton. Mr. Thick 1138. I have the following wide receivers on bye: Jefferson, AJ Brown, Gabe Davis. Would you drop 2 of the following to pick up Wan'Dale and Tyquan? So right on cue, Kev. So would you drop Rodgers, Pacheco, A-Rob? 2 of those to pick up Wan'Dale and Thornton.
What was that one more time? Who did the drop? Who?
Rodgers, Pacheco, and A-Rob. Would you drop 2 of the following to pick up Wan'Dale and Tyquan?
A-Rob, like Aaron Rodgers?
Well, first one just says Rodgers, and then it says Pacheco, and then Allen Robinson.
That Aaron Rodgers?
I'm assuming.
I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head.
Jaquiz?
Unless it's Amari. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. Jaylen Brown got offered Kamara and AJ Brown for Saquon and Hopkins. Saying thin at wide receiver. So got offered Kamara and AJ Brown for Saquon and Hopkins.
So they would get the Kamara side.
Correct. Giving up Saquon and D-Hop, getting Kamara and AJ Brown. I think I'm keeping Saquon and Hopkins.
Yeah. James, I see your so top available is Tyler Boyd, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Rondale Moore, and Nico Collins. So then I would drop one. I mean, you have 3 tight ends here, so you definitely should drop. I would drop Taysom Hill. We've already talked about that. I'm dropping him.
There has to be. I would try and make a trade first.
Yeah. I think you can definitely make a trade, but I don't think you're going to get a ton for Taysom Hill.
No, but like I still think like I said, if you could package that and free up a roster spot that way instead of just like if with James having 3 tight ends, like there's somebody in that league who could use some tight end help, right?
Oh, for sure. And I think, like I said, I think I would probably honestly trade, which sounds crazy, but I would probably trade Kyle Pitts before I traded David Njoku. David Njoku's been really good. And I think he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And he's only going to get better once Deshaun Watson returns. And so, like, I would rather trade Kyle Pitts. And so now you're not going to get the same value that you drafted Kyle Pitts for, and you can let that go, but that's
Right.
fine. You still want to get something for him. But if I'm adding somebody from that list that you have here, there's some pretty decent names that are sitting in there, and I would probably like. How would you rank those 4? Tyler Boyd, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Rondale, and Nico Collins. Because I think I would go Tyler Boyd, then Rondale, then Nico, and then Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think is the way that I would look at it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And appreciate you, James, by the way, for the super chat.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't know if we said that, but I'm sure we did.
But we do appreciate it twice. Need tight end for next week available. Available in my league. Gesicki, Conklin, Bellinger, Henry, and Irv Smith.
For next week?
Yeah, Cubanito, if you're looking at this like already to try and get ahead of it, I don't think you like some of those options are going to be available. So if we're talking about playing for this week, I would want Irv Smith. But if this is actually for week 8, I'm not making a move to drop somebody right now, unless like you have like a second defense or a second kicker. I wouldn't be looking to make that move to shore up one of these. Like you're gonna like all these options are generally in the same bucket. Like I don't think you're gonna be missing out on a bunch of points if you don't pick up one of these guys right now for next week.
Yeah. I mean, if you absolutely had to make a move, I'd probably go Irv Smith. Vikings are playing the Cardinals next week. And then you have the Giants are actually playing the Seahawks. So both are in really good spots. So if you want to go Bellinger or Irv Smith, I would just lean towards Irv Smith. I think he makes a little bit more sense. So I'd go Irv Smith, and then the other one would be Bellinger after that. But like you said, I don't think you don't have to add one of them right now.
Sick, nasty. We dropping Garrett Wilson or still holding on?
Yeah, I think you're probably still holding on. It's just they're just not going to be throwing the ball as much. Obviously, when they were throwing the ball 50 times a game, there was a lot more targets to go around. We've kind of seen it where the first 3 weeks where they were throwing at an incredible rate, where he saw 8, 14, and 10 targets. Once Zach Wilson has come back, he saw 6 targets, 4 targets, and 5 targets. It's just not going to be kind of the same offense. It's going to be much more of a team that really wants to run the ball, and that's what they're just not going to be throwing the ball as much. When you have him, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, there's just a lot of options here. Like you could drop Garrett Wilson. I don't want to if I absolutely had to. Because I also think Elijah Moore is definitely in the drop space too.
Yeah. Kev, this one for you sounds like a keeper question. Got offered CD in a 2023 12th for my 2023 4th. Running a wide receiver, currently 3-3.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Samesies. Trouble. Taylor, Chubb, Jacobs, Stevenson, Evans. Who are we starting?
I mean, I assume if you get two of those, it's Taylor and Jacobs for me. If there's a third option, that would plug in Mike Evans. I assume that's probably what they're looking for, right? Probably two running backs and a flex, because if you're including Mike Evans.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
So for me, it would be JT, Jacobs, and then Mike Evans.
Yeah, I can get down with that. Bruno A-Rod got dropped a couple weeks ago. Picked him up strictly to play him this week since Hurts is on bye. Should I drop Rodgers for someone like Ryan, Gino, Jimmy G, or Mariota?
I would stick with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Nick, rest of season, pick 2. that have you just threw me off there. Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Bateman, or Gallup. Half PPR, we need 2.
Bateman and Gallup.
I thought for sure Pickens was gonna be one of your guys. I agree with Bateman and Gallup. I was fully expecting you to throw out Pickens. One Deer, appreciate the super chat. Appreciate all you guys for rocking with us. We will get to all of your questions. We have now slipped to. We were making up time, and now we are a half hour behind again. So appreciate all of you rocking with us and kicking it with us. We'll be here all night until we answer all the questions, as we do every Wednesday. I'm in a tough spot with my wide receivers. I have A.J. Brown, Kirk, DJ Moore, Alec Pearson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Shai Shop, A.J. Brown for 2 strong wide receiver 2s.
No, because you're just creating another issue. I mean, even if you had 2, then you're not really helping yourself.
Because
I think
you
you're
just have
fine.
a bunch of wide receiver 2s.
Yeah, and wide receiver is the easiest position to replace anyway. I mean, so I think you're fine. I think you have A.J. Brown, who's a solid wide receiver 1, and then you have Christian Kirk. I think he could be a decent wide receiver 2. DJ Moore, if they could ever figure out how to throw the ball in Carolina, would obviously be a great wide receiver 2, but he hasn't been that way so far. But yeah, and then Alec Pierce has been fine, and Wan'Dale Robinson. Like, yeah, I think you're good. Like, you don't need to really make any upgrades at wide receiver. Right? I don't feel like. I think you're okay.
Yeah. Agreed. Alejandro has a bunch of available quarterbacks here with Hurts on a bye. So we're looking at Matty Ice, Brissett, Daniel Jones, Wilson, Mariota, Tanny, Heineke, Jimmy G, Zach Wilson, Fields, or Mac Jones.
I think it's either Justin Fields for me or Daniel Jones.
And I will go Matt Ryan.
He's definitely the safer option of the bunch.
You know, Fields is like starting to look a little bit better. But that New England defense is starting to play pretty good. I mean, that point total is like 39, I think. Might have been bumped up to 40. And Danny Dimes, I just can't. I can't fudge with. So I'm just going to go Matty Ice there. Two running backs, Aaron Jones, McCaffrey, Breece Hall. Who do I start?
McCaffrey and Breece.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Kev. Sorry, guys, trying to find the next question here. You guys are helping each other out. Love to see it, but it's making it hard to find the next one coming up. Anime pick 2: Najee, Jeff Wilson, CEH, and Jamal Williams. Oh my god, can't believe Najee is lumped in with these guys, but he is. This is where it is now for Najee. But having said that, I'm gonna go Najee and Jeff Wilson. I'm just gonna go and gather up the touches there out of that group. Xenon, what is going on? Juju, Lockett, Kirk, Ayuk, Keenan on waivers. What are we doing here? Mooney, yeah, we're not. I mean, Myers. I like Myers a lot. Could make a case for Myers over Juju. I think Juju has the higher upside, but I'm not going to be messing around with any of those other wide receivers over who you have. We need 2. Okay, so we're gonna go. We're gonna go Kirk and Keenan there for you, Alejandro. Xenon's 1-5. Just traded Kelsey for Amon-Ra. Saint broke. Kelsey for Amon-Ra and Zach Ertz. That is tough. Only because with Ertz we have D-Hop coming back, right? Like that's the big thing. I mean, I still think Ertz is going to be involved, and obviously with Marquise going down, that should float him for for a couple more weeks. But I do like getting Amon-Ra. My best players were Kelsey and Cup. Decided to trade away Kelsey over Cup. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. Getting Amon-Ra. I'm if we were to do rest of season rankings, I'm assuming Amon-Ra would probably slot into like the back end wide receiver 1 range for us. And getting Ertz as well. I think he'll be fine, but I do think his production is gonna take a dip here once everyone gets healthy and on the field. Taysom or wait on news for Waller. Oh man. I think I'd probably just go Taysom. I mean, Ed, let us know what waiver options you have at tight end, just in case you were to wait. But I'm probably just going to rock with Taysom and not really mess around with Waller. What do I do with James Conner? No, my league wants to trade for him. I mean, if nobody in the league wants to trade for, like, you're not dropping James Conner. If no one wants to trade for him, you just have to hold on. Hope that he strings together 2 to 3 good weeks, because then he's going to start to have some trade value after that. He just hasn't been doing a ton. That Arizona offense just hasn't been great in general, especially in the first half. They have done next to nothing in the first half. They've been starting off really slow. So if he gets back healthy, it's not going to be a long-term injury with the ribs. He might play this week. Questionable going into tomorrow's matchup with the Saints. But if no one wants to trade for him, like you're just holding him. I'm not going to drop James Conner. Like there's going to be more running back injuries as the year goes on. Michael King, Otton at tight end or Hunter Henry in a PPR. I'm going to go Otton. Hunter Henry, like if I know that him and Jonnu kind of had some decent games last week, but he's so hard to trust whenever Jonnu is in the lineup. So I'm going to go Otton there. Cedric, who should I start between Pittman, Hopkins, and Stevenson? We need 2 to start.
I think Pittman and Stevenson.
Same for me. Lucius, are we worried about JT's health moving forward? I mean, I'm not. It didn't seem like it was that big of a deal to begin with. Like whenever he had the injury, like there was still some hope that he could have played like that next week. And obviously now he's had a couple of games to let that heal. So I'm not.
And he's never been. I think this is the first time he's missed any games in his entire like going all the way back to high school. He's never missed a game.
It might be, yeah. Bills or Eagles defense rest of season.
I think I'm gonna go Eagles just because of their schedule. Like their schedule is really, really nice. So they're on bye this week, but after their bye, they get the Steelers, the Texans, the Commanders, the Colts, the Packers, the Titans, the Giants, the Bears, the Cowboys, and the Saints. Like
Yeah.
there's really not many, if any, like hardly any games there that you're like, oh man, I don't really want to play them that week. You know, like I don't really see any on here, maybe except for the Cowboys game on Christmas Eve. You know that, but even still with that, like this defense has just been so good, and I know the Bills defense is also really really good, but I don't know. I just the Eagles as a defense that I would want all year. Did we get these other? There's two super chats down here. Did you see those?
I did not see those.
Here to stay where you're at, and then I'll.
Big crit. We need 3: Eno, Stevenson, Wilson, and Dylan.
So Stevenson, Jeff Wilson.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Assuming Connor plays. If Connor does not play, I would go Eno. I hate how he's like some of these super chats aren't popping up.
Yeah, I think it's dumb. They should pop up, but they don't.
I feel like we never used to have that problem.
It's only ones. I think it's if it's under like. I think it's the ones that are under like a certain amount. I don't know. It's stupid. They should all show up. But yeah.
Did you say there was an? Oh, okay. Another
Yeah.
one from James, Jalen Hurts, Ken, Judy for Gino, JT, and Mike Evans.
This is crazy because like I think on like it's like it seems pretty obvious. Like obviously JT is a pretty easy like oh yeah you definitely want that. And then Mike Evans awesome upgrade. Like both of them blow away. You know, really Kenneth Walker and Jerry Judy. The tough part is getting rid of Jalen Hurts because he's been so good, and it's been such a cheat code to have like those top 3 or 4 quarterbacks. But yeah, I would do that. I think you have to. You can figure out quarterback with something else, and figure it out. I don't really love Gino like rest of season, but Jalen Hurts, like I have to do that. Like you're getting way too much value there with JT and Mike Evans.
Yeah, I agree. Now, James, if you're able to like put that one on pause, I think maybe because I remember with your team, like it was just like the wide receiver 2, like just kind of wanting some better like wide receiver 2, just like better wide receivers in general. So like I would maybe try and make like a smaller one first because like Kev, what you're saying with Jalen Hurts definitely definitely holds some water. But yeah, if you don't have anything like ready to go, I think you got to pull the trigger on that one. Helping out Alejandro here, we have Najee, Barkley, T, Ayuk, Ertz, Myers, and on the bench we have Swift, Deontay, ETN, Mike Thomas, London, Rondell, and Brian Robinson. Then we have some other options. on waivers. Trying to see if he said anything else. So obviously, Alejandro needs to figure out something at quarterback, but Barkley we're plugging in, Swift we're plugging in over Najee, T. Ayuk.
Yeah, I would leave it the way you have it. And then I guess the question would be like, would you drop Rondell Moore for any of the players that are available on waivers? I think he would be the most logical. I mean, I guess you could make a case for Brian Robinson, but I'd rather have Brian Robinson than all of those. But I actually don't mind dropping Rondell Moore for Darnell Mooney.
I would just rather keep Rondell Moore. Yeah, I would just keep that. I would just keep that as is there. I mean, maybe Rondell Moore for Curtis Samuel. I did see Curtis Samuel in there. I think you can make a.
I would rather have Darnell Mooney. He started to show signs of life. 2 of the last 3 weeks, he's put up double-digit fantasy points. He's been a top 24 wide receiver 2 of the last 3 weeks. He's their wide receiver 1. He's going to continue to see targets and at a high rate on this offense. And I think they're going to eventually start to throw the ball a little bit more than what they are. Justin Fields actually started to look a lot better over the last couple of weeks as well. And I think that coincides with Darnell Mooney starting to, come to life. And so he's just like Rondell Moore is fine, but I don't expect him to ever break out. I don't think I don't the way they utilize him. Everything is short and intermediate routes. He's not going to score hardly any touchdowns. And so now with him, and then they had Robbie Anderson, and then 4 or 5 weeks from now, Marquise Brown comes back, and now where is he at within the offense? It's just I would rather have Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, agreed. Goff or Jimmy G this week? I'm going to go Goff. I know it's a tougher matchup, but
yeah, I would go Jared Goff.
Jameis, Fields, Heineke.
I don't think they've announced a starter yet, have they, for the Saints?
I haven't seen anything.
The last I read this afternoon, was that it likely was going to be Andy Dalton again, and it wasn't going to be Jameis Winston. But assuming Jameson plays, I would go Justin Fields still. I would go Justin Fields. I like Justin Fields this week.
I would go Fields as well there out of that group. Yang needs some help here. 10-man full PPR. Herbert, Dak, Diggs, CD, Waddle, Hall, ETN, AJ Dillon, B-Rob, Walker, and Njoku, Zach Ertz. Just let me scroll down here, see if we're missing anything else. Doesn't look like we are, so just give some starts and sits here. Do you like Herbert or Dak this week?
Herbert.
I would try and move one of those as well, Yang, especially in a 10-man. No need to hold on to 2. Even if it was a 12 or an 8 team, really no reason to hold on unless you're in a super flex, obviously. Then we have Diggs, CD, Waddle. So if we need 2 of those, it would be the first 2. Then Hall, ETN, AJ Dillon, B-Rob, Walker. I'm going to go Njoku at tight end, and then at running back, it would be Brees and Walker.
Yeah. In terms of, I guess, like just improving this team, 'cause you just said need help to improve 3-3. Is there any moves here? Because like I feel like running back is the problem here. I mean, Brees Hall, obviously, like I said, rest of the season's top 10. Kenneth Walker should be good too. But I think you could use a little help there. Wide receiver, I think you're good with Diggs and Waddle and CD. I mean, that's a really nice trio of wide receivers.
I think for me, it would depend on if this is like a start 2 wide receiver or a start 3. You know what I mean? Because like I don't know that I'd want to pull from one of those wide receivers to try and upgrade and then make a hole. You know what I mean? Then make a hole at wide receiver. And like if those have been your running backs all year, like I think you can start to catch some steam now with Hall and Walker taking over.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think. Oh, I mean, I at best, like you said, I would probably maybe look to take Dak if this is assuming this isn't a super flex league. If
Yeah.
it's not, and it's just a one quarterback start league, I think you could take Dak and probably like a Zach Ertz and trade them to somebody. I think so.
Yeah, Ertz in there as well. Didn't see that. Good call. Good eyes. Crit coming through again. Appreciate you, my man. Best of these stashes in order: Kyron, Van Jefferson, Elijah Mitchell, Pacheco, White, Jameson, Williams. So let's start there, and then we can get to the Gabe question. So for stashes, I'm gonna go Pacheco.
I would go Pacheco. Oh, Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, I know that. I saw that, and that kind of just gave me pause too.
Okay, so I would go Elijah Mitchell, then Pacheco, then Kyron, then Jameson Williams, then Van Jefferson, then Rashad White, I think.
So I would have White third. So Eli, Pacheco, White. Just because I really like Kyron, but I don't know. I think it's always going to be a split, right? Like I don't know that like Kyron just gets like the workhorse role there. And then I would go. So those 3 running backs: Jameson, Kyron, and Van Jefferson.
Yeah, I can dig that. It just with Jameson Williams, I don't mind adding him, but I just don't know when he's going to come back. Like they said today that he's progressing nicely, but they really don't have a timetable yet for him to return to even start practicing yet. And so I mean they're kind of a team. It's not like they're a team that's on the that they're 4-2 and they're looking like a playoff team. Like if they continue to lose and they continue to fall out of it, I mean this is a shot that maybe they don't play him at all this year. And they just redshirt him this year. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he will play, but I love Jameson Williams, but I don't know if this is going to be the year that he does. I don't know. It's tough.
And not like that, it's still Jared Goff. Amon-Ra St. Brown's still going to be the guy. You know what I mean? Like I don't think Jameson's going to come in and all of a sudden command, 7+ targets per game. Appreciate you, Big Crit. Russ or Carr?
It's got to be Carr. I can't play Russ anymore.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Going Carr there as well. NASCAR Fantasy Live need 2 wide receivers: D-Hop, Debo, and Godwin.
Godwin and Debo.
Yep. Russ, Gino, or Jimmy G?
I'm going Gino.
Yeah.
It's just a wild world we live in. Geno Smith.
It really is. Alejandro needs a QB for another league: Carr, Ryan Brissett, Goff, Jones, Heineke, Mariota, Tannehill, Jimmy G, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, and Fields.
Derek Carr.
PJ Monroe need to start 2 wide receivers in a flex: Debo, Chase, Amon-Ra, Swift, Olave, and Godwin.
All right, so Swift's going into the flex.
Chase locked in.
This
And man,
so I would go Chase.
Chase and Debo for me. Amon-Ra right there though.
I would go Chase and Amon-Ra. I have Chase 1, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown at 4, and I have Debo Samuel at 5. So
Yeah, it's close. Definitely don't mind Amon-Ra. Ali rocking with us. Good to see Ali in here. Traded Stevenson, Dak, and Mixon for Rodgers, Chubb, and Lamb. Wide receivers are Debo, Godwin, Lamb, Deontay. Running backs are Chubb, JT, Connor, and Madison.
yeah, I think you won that trade.
I like it. I like it. Next one from Ali. Which defense? Cardinals, Las Vegas, or Cincinnati? I'm going to go with the Cards.
I will go with.
It seems like the chat right after that was blowing up with Cincy.
Yeah, I think
Just
that's
like,
what I would go with.
yeah, I mean, I get it. But Arizona, since week 1, when Kansas City smacked them around, has been playing pretty well. Peanut butter jelly time. Offered London, Olave, and Boyd for Jones. Got denied. Wow.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
That is hefty. Uzi, should I trade Mooney and Patty Fry for T. Higgins? Yes.
Yeah.
Keenan for Aaron Jones. Give me Keenan.
I'd go Aaron Jones.
Coward. Crip. What's up, Crip? Who should I start full PPR? Olave, Gallup, Mostert, or Alec Pierce? Already starting T-Hop Hill, Fournette, and JT. So Olave, Gallup, Mostert, and Pierce.
I'm gonna go Olave.
I'm going to go Olave too, but I don't love it. Get it? Jeff Wilson or Eno Benjamin for Mike. I'm going to go Jeff Wilson there.
Agreed.
Lucius, I want to trade. Which side do you prefer? Half PPR, Stevenson and Waller for Brees and Pitts.
The Brees side.
Brees side for me as well. Marquise, should I trade Mixon and AJ Brown for Adams and Ramondre? I'm going to keep the Mixon side.
Yeah, I would agree.
Think if like Harris hit IR, season-ending IR, I would think about it. But with Harris coming back, going to go back to a split. Already got that one. Sonny, trading D-Hops, Lamar, Brian Robinson for JT, Kyler, and Michael Thomas. Good. I already have T. Higgins, Mixon, Swift, full PPR, 12 teams, 0-6. Yeah. Give the best player of the deal.
Absolutely.
Is Dylan droppable?
No. I mean, I don't think that he is. No.
Dobbs.
I mean, I think Dobbs would be. I think you could drop Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to. I mean, it's not something I'm actually looking to do, but Dylan is not.
Carr or Tua this week? I'm going to go Carr here. Tua just scares the shit out of me, man. Like that is terrifying. Like, I'm genuinely surprised he's back this quick.
I'm gonna go with Tua.
Scare money don't make no money. I think if it weren't for the concussions, I would be going Tua. So I will say that. Juju or Jeff Wilson in the flex.
I'm gonna go Juju.
And then Bateman or Dobbs. It's going to be Bateman for both of us, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Dekalaki. Would you trade Devontae Adams, DK, and Evans for Henry, Waddle, and Hopkins? I would not.
I would make that trade. If you're getting Derrick Henry, Waddle, and DeAndre Hopkins, Waddle is like wide receiver 7 on the season. Derrick Henry, if he maintains, I mean, the guy's also saying like targets, which is weird, but he's still not running a lot of routes. But I think he's running like 11 routes a game or something like that. But I mean, I think I would, but it's close.
Mike had the Jags defense. Should I drop them for the Jets, Broncos, Cards, Dolphins, Titans? I like the Broncos this week.
Yeah, I like the Broncos as well.
Should I pick up Watson at quarterback?
Chris, it's too early. I mean, there's still what? We still got another 5 weeks left?
Yeah.
I just hate having him, and he just sits there for holding down a roster spot for 5 weeks, especially with the buys and everything else that are going on right now. I think I would wait
if we get like a major like running back injury, something like that comes up, you're going to be sitting there and you're probably going to end up dropping Watson anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, it's still a little, unless you can put him on IR, but which I'm assuming if you were able to do that, that would have been done already in your league. It's still just a little too early for me. You gonna grab the super chat?
Oh, well, yeah, we'll grab that next answer to this one real quick. Major waste. Who do you think is most likely to have a breakout week between Paris Campbell, Tyquan Thornton, or Wan'Dale Robinson? Man, for a 60 team league, I don't think this is slim pickings.
No, it's not. I was surprised to see that actually.
I think Wan'Dale probably makes the most sense because of what he did on, even if it was limited snaps last week. I think he played like 11, and he ran 11 routes or something like that, but he was targeted on 4 of those 11 routes.
15 snaps.
Or 15 snaps. And so I think it would be Wan'Dale, then it would be Tyquan, then it would be Paris Campbell. Is the way that I would look at that trade.
Yep.
Or that situation. Big Critigan, Justin Herb, Brady, Stevenson, Dillon, Jeff Wilson, Kupp, Tyree, Gabe Davis, Kelsey, McKenzie, Dobbs, Zay Jones with stashes. 33 thoughts on how I can improve. Thanks.
Big Crit coming through again.
So I going to ask, is this a 2-quarterback league? So I would just, PSA. It's a lot easier to, if we can get some of that information because it matters for how I would move forward. Obviously, 2-quarterback league, then, obviously you're keeping both of them. But if it's not, I think I would look to try to trade Brady. I'm keeping Justin Herbert. And then Stevenson, Dillon. Who's the rest of the running backs? 1 with flex. So just so we're on the same page, you can start a quarterback in the flex.
Can you start 1 quarterback or 2 quarterbacks?
Yeah.
If you can only start 1, we definitely want to get rid of Brady.
Yeah.
Obviously,
then the rest, I would say, it really needs help at running back.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you can only start 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, yes, trade Brady.
Package Brady and Gabe. I think, Kupp and Tyreek, I don't want to move either of them. Gabe Davis has been putting up big games, but he's still not getting really targeted at the clip that you would think that he is with some of the games that he has put up. I mean, he's basically getting like 5 to 6 targets per game. And he's just like living off of the big plays and touchdowns. So if you can package Brady and Davis and try and get a better running back there, even if you have to do like a 3-for-1 and do Brady, Davis, and let's say Dylan or Jeff Wilson, if you want to get out of Jeff Wilson before Eli Mitchell comes back, it's probably the route that I would go, because if anything were to happen to Aaron Jones, Dylan is obviously the guy you want to have there. So that's probably where I'm looking.
Yes, I would agree.
Appreciate you, Crit. Appreciate all you guys rocking with us. If you are new to the channel, please hit us with a sub and a like while you are here. We're on the road to 4K. Appreciate all you guys. We need to drop one here for Alejandro, A-Rob, Juju, Kirk, IU, Keenan, Lockett, and Davis.
Process of elimination tells me I would drop Allen Robinson.
Yeah. Alejandro, what are we dropping one of these guys for is also the question that I would want to know. Or the answer? The answer I want to know? Question that I have? Little boy Blue. Should I trade Brian Robinson and Kareem Hunt for ETN? Yes, I would do that.
Agreed.
Outsole traded Kyler, B-Rob, and Drake for Hurts. Good or bad? I'm good with it.
Yep.
Assuming, that those are all just bench guys at running back. So we need trade ideas for a wide receiver here for PB and J. We have Trevor Lawrence, Walker Hall, CD, Pittman, Pitts, JT, benches Olave, London, Boyd, ETN, Dolchich, Jameson Williams, Deshaun Watson. I mean, I think you're fine. I'm assuming that's Michael Pittman.
If that's Michael Pittman, then yeah, I think you're fine. I mean, CeeDee Lamb and Michael Pittman are going to be like borderline wide receiver ones every week in terms of like just where you're going to want to play them. And bench with Olave, I think you're fine there. I mean, I don't think you need a wide receiver.
Yeah.
PB and J. I mean, you're doing really well at wide receiver here. Once again, it's kind of the same thing with Deshaun Watson. Like, I don't think you really need to hold on to him. But that wasn't your question.
Trade Kirk and get ETN in a PPR.
Yeah, I would do that.
Should I flex Alec Pierce or Wandale?
It is Alec Pierce for me.
Let's go. Dobbins or Drake? I think that decision is probably going to be made for you, Harry. I feel like Dobbins is probably going to sit. Then we have, I guess, Curtis Samuel thrown to the mix too. Samuel, Pierce, Wandale.
I would go with Curtis Samuel.
Let's go. Jenna, thoughts on what to do with Cooper, wide receiver 10 on the season? Seems crazy to me. I mean, I think because it is Amari Cooper and it is the Browns, like, I'm just holding Cooper. Like, the dude's just seeing a pretty sizable target share. And that's with, obviously, Jacoby at the helm. I think things could potentially get better, maybe from an efficiency, completion type of standpoint when Deshaun Watson comes back. So I'm holding him because I don't think you're going to get wide receiver 10 value for Amari Cooper just based on the name.
Right. Nobody ever loves Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is always going, yeah, he's there. He's a wide receiver. But nobody's ever excited about Amari Cooper, right? And yes, he is not. You're not going to get what you normally would typically get for a wide receiver that's putting up top 10 wide receiver numbers. And he's been solid. Outside of really 2 games this year. Week 1 where he put up 4.7, and then week 4 against Atlanta where he put up 1.9. Other than that, he has been a top 10 scoring wide receiver in 3 of the other 4 games that he played in. And the other one was 14.4, which is still a top 24 wide receiver. So he's been really solid this year. Just they don't really have anybody else. He's seen 10 or more targets in 4 of the 6 games he's played in as well. So it's really hard to want to move on from him, especially with the production that you're getting from him. And it's only going to get better once Deshaun Watson returns.
Then again, the big thing is like you're not going to get that value back for him.
No, not at all. Jason, neither RB2 bad. PPR got offered Mixon and Amari for Cup. Mixon and Amari for Keenan Allen and Olave, Tyreek and ETN for Hunt and Cup. Which would you go for? I'm not trading Amari Cooper. Or Amari Cooper. I'm not trading Cooper Cup. Sorry. Amari Cooper. Yeah. It's sorry, we were just talking about him. It's I'm not trading Cooper Cup though. He has been an absolute cheat code.
I would do Mixon and Amari for Keenan Allen and Olave. We were just talking about Amari, how well he's playing.
Yeah, I would much rather do that.
Yeah.
But we're not giving up Cooper Cup. Like he has been a cheat code this year.
Yeah. 17 targets per game, 12 catches and 140 yards feels like every week. Eno or Brian Robinson?
I'm going to go with Eno on this one.
Yep. For me as well. Robbie, 1-5. Team is Kyler, Brees, J-Rob, Waddle, D-Hop, Gabe, Cooks, Dylan. Should I trade Gabe and Dylan for ETN and your boy, Jacoby Myers?
I need to buy a Jacoby Myers jersey. I'll probably like one of only, besides his mother and his father, that probably have at his family that has his jersey. I need a Jacoby Myers.
Pounding the table for him as well.
Yeah. To definitely need a running back. So getting ETN would actually help. Because that right now he is starting James Robinson.
Yeah.
But then you're going to be in the problem of you're going to have both.
Oh, shit.
My
kid just woke up.
If this is me, I really don't want Travis Etienne and James Robinson if I can help it.
Huh?
So for me, I would look to make a little bit of a different move here. I would actually even rather do trade Gabe and James Robinson, keep AJ Dillon for ETN and Myers. I'd rather do that. I think that's a better option. I don't really want both of the Jaguars running backs on my team. Yeah, and I agree. I'm really looking for an RB2. You need an RB2 for sure. I think there's better options for you to go after though than that. If you can either if you can get ETN, I'm perfectly fine with that. But I'm just not making that move. I don't have
to. He was upset that I left him after he fell asleep. Why did you leave me? Carr or Matt Ryan? That is going to be Derek Carr for both of us.
Yeah.
Deron, Montgomery or Ertz for my flex if Taylor misses again. I don't think Taylor misses, so I think you're fine. But if for some reason he does, I would go.
I would say that he is. I can't say 100%, but I would say 95% chance he plays this week. He practiced in full today on a Wednesday when most players don't. He's playing on Sunday.
Stacy needs a defense, Dallas or Pats? I like the Patriots defense.
Yeah, I would go Patriots too.
this weekend. John Kelly, start Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, Mike Williams, Amari Cooper, Ayuk, pick 3.
Aaron Jones, Mike Evans.
I'm going Evans, Mike Will, and Cooper.
We go Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, and Amari Cooper.
Jesse, appreciate you rocking with us. Just traded Godwin for Pierce. Now, Kev, saying you want Pierce. Are you giving up Godwin to do it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to find a running back that's going to get the kind of opportunity that he is seeing. I mean, he has truly turned into a 3-down running back. And so there's not many of these guys that are out there. And yeah, I think he is a very solid option. I mean, he is, like I've said, he's been a top 12 running back 3 straight games that he's played. He has over 100 total yards in 3 straight games. It's not just that he scored a touchdown. I mean, you can say he's touchdown dependent, but he's not, because now he's starting to see targets. He ran a route on 56% of the dropbacks week 4. He also ran a route on 40% of the routes week 5, and he's, like I said, seen 11 targets. So that was the kind of the other piece we were looking to see. Now we've seen it that he's doing. I am perfectly okay with that trade.
What about this trade? D-Hop for Kyler Murray.
I think if you are solid at wide receiver and you don't need DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, it's not, you haven't had him all year, and you can get Kyler Murray, I think I would entertain the idea if you're solid at wide receiver.
I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, I'm with you in the sense of like I never really want to trade for a quarterback though. See if Tua was dropped, maybe like pick Tua up, maybe do something like that. Yeah, I guess if you're fine there, and he's kind of just not going to crack your starting lineup, but I would try to find another.
Yeah, if there's a good quarterback sitting out there on waivers, then yeah, I think that's a better route than trading somebody.
Jesse's getting a lot of trade offers for Kelsey. If I were to trade him, who would be worth getting?
You would need a lot.
Yeah.
Like an elite running back or an elite wide receiver to make it.
Yeah. Sure.
It's such a cheat code having him or like a Mark Andrews, right? Both those guys have been so good this year, and it's such a positional advantage that you get from them. And so, like, you would need a lot to move on from one of them.
3-foot 3 putt sounds like my golf game. Would you sit Brady for Matt Ryan this week?
No, I'm playing Tom Brady.
Yeah. Especially with the Panthers secondary could be banged up. Henderson and Dante Jackson were both injured in the last game. Fernando, who should I play as my RB2? Gordon Algier or Antonio Gibson? Ugh.
Yeah, I think you got to go Melvin Gordon.
Best kicker, Greg the Leg, Sanders, Myers.
Sweep the leg. Sorry. I think it's going to be Jason Sanders. Yeah, I'm going to go Jason Sanders.
I like Greg the Leg. Denver, getting that little boosty boost from the altitude. I'm fine with Kev's pick as well if that helps, Ali. Hayu, Hopkins or Kamara at flex full PPR.
I'm going Kamara.
Going Kamara there as well. Truth Teller, always rocking with us. Who do we start this week? Gino or Matt Ryan? I finally dropped us.
I'm going to go Gino.
Yeah. Monty or Brian Robinson. Good to see Tyler in here. I haven't seen Tyler for a while. I'm going to go Monty.
Agreed. Yeah.
Crit, appreciate you. Thank you for rocking with us. If you're not yet subscribed, be like Big Crit. Just hit the button. That's all it takes. Give us a little subby sub. B-Rob, Jameson Williams, and A-Rob or Higgins. Not sure if...
I think he's answering a question.
Yeah, yeah. Boba. If the Rams do not get an RB via trade, do you think Kyron Williams will be startable when he's back?
Yeah. I mean, he was supposed to have, like I said, Adam Schefter reported that he was actually in line to have a big role week 1 before he went down with an injury. So I do think so. And it doesn't seem like Sean McVay really even likes Darrell Henderson. It seems like he hates him just as much as whatever has happened with Cam Akers. Like any opportunity they get to not play Darrell Henderson, they do it. And so
Sony Michel, Malcolm Brown.
Yeah. And so I do think that, yes, he is certainly worth a stash. And it's not like we're going to have to wait for a really long time to figure it out.
Pierce or Gallup?
I'm going to go with Michael Gallup.
I think Gallup has the upside. If you need safety, I think Alec Pierce actually might be the safer option. But I like Gallup there too. Yango back with us. Haven't seen YM in here for a while. Good to see some of these old faces coming back in here. Full PPR, I have full PPR 1 flex. Mahomes, Mike Williams, Lenny, Ramondre Stevenson, Hurst. Oh, okay. So Hurts on bye. Davis, Smitty, got man. One of these can start one of these. Olave, Dobbs, Pickens, Pierce. Got Pearson now because of matchup. I have Olave ranked over Pierce, but I don't hate Pierce over Olave.
I'm going to go with Olave here. And just hope the Red Rocket can hit him for a long gain or something.
Yeah. I think the upside resides with Olave for sure. Good to see you in here. I think we monitor B-Rob.
Yeah, we got that
or
one.
Maybe that was a different. This is Monty, Tyler.
Yeah.
I think someone else asked it though. Join Ayuk and B-Rob for Godwin.
Yep. I'm taking that. I want Godwin.
Yeah. Legacy, would you start Ken Walker or Swift this week? It's going to be Swift, but we do like Ken Walker.
Yeah. he really is probably going to go down by the end of the year as the best value that anybody, because he was going like 9th, 10th, 11th round in fantasy football drafts just because everybody hated this entire offense. And so nobody was hyping him up. Like nobody was hyping up Kenneth Walker over the offseason as somebody should try to draft. So anyways.
Yeah. Then you had Penny there as well.
Yeah.
Should I trade Brian Robinson and Kareem Hunt for ETN? I would do it. So
what you're doing here is you're betting on the upside that Travis Etienne is eventually going to take over this backfield. Brian Robinson he needs an injury to Antonio Gibson, and he's still not going to get the pass catching work because J.D. McKissick is there. And if J.D. McKissick goes down, I think Antonio Gibson would get that pass catching work over Brian Robinson. So, and then Kareem Hunt, same thing. I mean, he needs a Nick Chubb injury to really be unleashed. Where Travis Etienne has that upside and that path to being the guy.
London and Bateman for Michael Thomas. I would not do that, Ulysses.
No, yeah, I want London and Bateman.
Would you trade Pierce and Kirk or Pierce and James Conner for Eckler?
Yeah, I would do both.
So we found where the Pierce love ends.
It's hard. He's been so good the last 3 weeks. Like he went from the first 3 weeks where he wasn't doing that great. He was still doing okay, but he just wasn't doing it. But now the last 3 weeks, he's averaging like 33 PPR points a game.
So which of these do you prefer? Do you have a preference on Kirk, Connor, and then also Deontay chilling on the bench?
I would do the Pierce and Kirk side.
Think that's the way that I lean, depending on what your wide receivers look like. Truth, but I wouldn't mind doing Connor either.
I wouldn't either.
Just
It's just such a tough situation with him. Because I feel like that one could blow up too in your face down the road. But yeah, I don't mind that at all either though. I think it's definitely. I wouldn't fight you on it.
Rich, we are going to go Gallup here at the flex, or pick up Pierce, Dobbs, or Wandale. Start one of them. Like I said, it's definitely between Gallup and Pierce, and it's kind of like a safety versus upside thing. I think Pierce might be the safer option, but Gallup is Gallup is who we would both go with here. It's no disrespect to the Dallas defense. I think it's more about the matchup Porsche between those two. Gabe Davis for Ken Walker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Gurus pod rocking with us. Need a flex, Brees or Swift?
DeAndre Swift.
Swift for me as
This
well.
matchup for Brees Hall worries me a little bit because Denver's defense has been really good.
Yeah.
Their run defense has been pretty solid. I mean, they're really good in the passing game, obviously, but so it does worry me a little bit for Brees Hall. The thing that makes me not as worried is that I don't see Denver coming out and just getting some big lead on them or anything.
Yeah.
On the Jets. So
And we did see week one, Rashad Penny did break off a couple like longer runs. I think he only ended up with 65 yards on the day. But there were some were some holes that are available for him. So he could just end up getting you 7 to 8 points.
I think this is
Matty
what we're going to
was picked up.
split because I'm going to go with Danny Dimes. I guess Russ would be an option, but
I will go Russ over Mariota. Emilito, Olave, Pierce, or Wandale, we need 2.5 point.
Olave and Pierce.
Mike Evans for Ken Walker or D-Hop?
Well, you're doing it for Kenneth Walker if you would. I don't know if I would trade Mike Evans over Kenneth Walker right now, but
I would not. I want to keep Evans here.
Yeah.
Truth 2 and 4 in this league: Geno, D-Hop, St. Brown, AJ Brown, Debo, Brees Hall, Cook, Kamara, Patty Fry, Njoku, Jeff Wilson, Matty Ice. You make any trades to upgrade a QB or stick it out? I mean, if you can find someone that maybe needs tight end and running back help, and you can get out from Jeff Wilson before Eli comes back, maybe send Patty Fry and Jeff Wilson, see if there's someone else in your league that's also rostering 2 quarterbacks, maybe go that route. Otherwise, I don't want to trade any of those pieces that you have for quarterback, unless you could do a Geno and one of those other pieces and kind of do the flip-flop, right? Where you're gaining someone quarterback, but then you're losing a little bit at the whatever position that you trade, do something like that. But I wouldn't be just trading one of those core pieces to try and upgrade big time at quarterback.
I think something you could do is offer offer Jeff Wilson for Trevor Lawrence if you really want to trade for a quarterback. I like that. Or if you want to add a little bit more to it, you could do, Geno, Jeff Wilson, and maybe like you mentioned, like Patty Fry or something. See if you can get like Joe Burrow. Um, something along those lines is kind of where I would be looking.
NFL, who to drop? Someone drop Monty for the Jets defense. Henderson, Jeff Wilson, or a New England running back.
Maybe I think I would drop Damian Harris.
Man.
Or
it's either Henderson or Wilson for me.
Yeah, I think you can do that too. I mean, you just have to remember, Dave Montgomery is still a pretty decent RB2. So, yeah, I think that's what I think it would either, yeah.
I think I would lean Wilson. I know Henderson hasn't been great. That offensive line is bad. It's not going to get better because it is banged up. But with Wilson, we have Eli Mitchell coming back. So that's what I would do. I would drop Jeff Wilson for Monty. Emilio, Patty Fry or Hawkinson full PPR?
Hawkinson.
Just got offered Andrews and Tyreek Hill for Kelsey and Dobbs. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Hurry up, Jesse. Please hit accept immediately. That's how you trade Travis Kelsey if you're going to do that. Man, just that slight bump down and getting a massive upgrade. Why? Wow. Good for you. Can I roll Geno and Goff for rest of the season? Should I try and trade for a QB? Stars are Geno, Kamara, Dobbins, JJ, Chase, Goddard, Gabe Davis. Again, Boba, if you can do something where, it's Geno and Gabe Davis for, I don't know, Kirk Cousins and, make up the difference there. Maybe try and do something like that. But I'm not going to try and just straight up go from Goddard to, like whoever the equivalent of the quarterback for Goddard would be. I would probably try and do a flip like that, like Geno and, Gabe Davis for Kirk Cousins and, I don't know, like a Curtis Samuel. About to be wrapping up here. Got a couple more to get through. We're going to drop one here for Alejandro, A-Rob, Juju Kirk, IU, Keenan.
It's the same one that he already asked. We want to know for what, and it's because he needs to activate Keenan Allen. So the way I look at it, like, yes, I would drop A-Rob of this group and to be able to get Keenan Allen back.
What do you do for Mostert? Because we did just see A-Rob finally have like a decent game. Kind of like,
yeah, I just don't know. With Juju, Kirk, IU, Keenan, Lockett, and Gabe Davis. Yeah. If you absolutely if you wanted to with Mostert, you could. Just, man, he's seen so many opportunities.
So is Eckler, Chubb, Pierce, and Cook. Or drop Pollard?
Oh, I'm not dropping Pollard. If I was going to, I'd drop Mostert before I drop Pollard. But like I said, I just think A-Rob would make the most sense of all the wide receivers you have.
Yeah. I think so too. Just the way I'm looking at that is, I think hopefully A-Rob, we keep saying this, but like the upside he has if that offense can get it together. But yeah. Or, try and make a trade. Try to see if you can like package up some of those wide receivers, Alejandro, and then make room that way. Or, Mostert, one of those wide receivers, do a 2-for-1 and try and make a bench spot that way. NASCAR. So the QB question I asked earlier, I have James Winston right now. Waivers don't process for 2 to 3 more hours. Do I wait it out with Winston and see if he starts or drop it for Fields?
I want Fields. Do you ever, speaking of which, just made me remind me whenever I see all the time frame on that. do you ever just wake up in the middle of the night, like after waivers run at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and just like look at your phone and see what happened?
Sometimes this is the level of sickness for startup auctions, like for some of the dynasties I've done. I will set alarms for like 2, 3, 4 in the morning to like check to see if like I need to like bid guys up or what. Like I've done that where I've set alarms, not like woke up and been like, oh, what happened? Literally setting alarms to be like, okay, is this guy? Oh man, I didn't have this money before. Now I have the money. Do I bump this guy up? Is this guy going to go for too cheap? I have set alarms for the middle of the night for during auctions.
I most definitely waking up in the middle of the night after waivers run, like super early. I'll wait, and I won't even set an alarm. I'll just wake up out of a deep sleep, and it's like I go and look, see what's happening. Did I get whoever I got? And I've been guilty before of like being in bed and be like, yes, let's go, got my guy, got let's go.
I've done it where it's like I've woken up and been like, shit, did I set the waiver? You know what I mean? Like I've done one of those. I don't know if I can't remember too many times if I've checked waivers to see who I got. I've done it with auctions where I set alarms, but I've definitely woken up and like wondered like, did I put them in? Rich, who's a better pickup? Thornton, Dolchich, Robbie Anderson, also which QB for a bye, Tua or Jimmy G. So we're gonna go Tua on the quarterback question, and then I think Rich, it kind of depends on like what do you need. Like if you need tight end, like Dolchich is nice. Robbie Anderson, I'm not really messing with. And then so if I had to rank them just blindly, I'd probably go Dolchich because I'm assuming you probably need a tight end, Thornton, and then Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, I'd probably rank the same.
And Joku over Patty Fry for the rest of the season. They would be semi close. Like it wouldn't be like Njoku at 4 and Patty Fry at 12. Probably be a couple spots apart, but I do prefer Njoku the rest of the season.
Absolutely. I mean, he's like top 5 in every single metric you can find. I mean, every single one. I mean, routes run, he's 8th, but then from there he is 4th in yards after the catch. He's 5th in yards per route run. I mean, he's top 6 tight end on the season. And like I said, things are only going to get better once Deshaun Watson, or he's tight end 6 right now in the year. Yes, it's David Njoku across the board.
TN just doing what goats do, just being the absolute goat, the absolute OG. Appreciate you, man. Like words can't explain, man. You're the best, the 101 of everything. Standard League, Tua, Dak, Carr. Originally I had Dak with Tua as the backup, both got injured, so I had to pick up Carr. Now I have 3 quarterbacks.
Well,
I think you could drop Carr.
yeah.
For sure. I like Dak this week, and then maybe try and trade Tua. See if you can do something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think really, if you really wanted to, you could drop Tua and Carr, honestly.
Yeah, you could.
Assuming that it's I always say this, but assuming it's a 1 QB league, which I think it is, then yes, I think you could drop both of them and just roll Dak. I mean, Dak has a great matchup this week against the Lions, obviously. So we're starting Dak Prescott.
For sure. Appreciate you, TN. Luke coming through with a super chat as well. 10-man full PPR standard league. Brees, Ramondre, Alvin, Pittman, Lamb, St. Brown. Who do I start?
How many does he need? Because let's just assume that it's 2 running backs. And I would go Brees. Oh, we already have that. He's only showing the 2 running backs anyway. That's set.
No, Brees, Ramondre, and Alvin.
Oh yeah, I missed that. Okay, so I would go Brees and Alvin Kamara. Or no, I would go Alvin Kamara and Ramondre Stevenson as long as Damian Harris is out. If Damian Harris plays, then we go Brees Hall.
Yep.
And then at wide receiver, I would start the 3 that you have, I assume. I don't know how many other.
Yeah. Yep. I am with that. Then Rogers had a question. Drake this week, I think he's a fine, flex play if Dobbins is out. He did, obviously look good last week, but he did have some opportunities earlier in the season where he did not look nearly as good as what he was putting on tape um, on Sunday. So, with the Ravens having the implied points total that they have at 25.75, obviously looks like it's going to be a good game. The total got bumped up a half point to 45.5 from 45. So I mean, obviously not a ton of movement there. But now the Ravens did move on the spread as well from 5.5 to 6. So if assuming Dobbins is out, I like Drake, like I said, as like a flex level running back. Speaking of flex, Joe has a flex question. Najee, Etienne, Olave, or Mike Williams in a half PPR? Joe leaning Olave.
If I had to flex one of them, I'm going to go with Najee Harris.
And I will go with Etienne. Olave just doesn't have a great matchup, Joe. I think that's why both of us are looking at one of those running backs over Olave. Then in a half PPR too, that kind of bumps it down a bit. Emilio, Brees Hall, Monty, Judy, Keenan Allen, or Cooks at the flex in a full PPR?
I'm going to go with Brees Hall.
Yeah, Brees Hall for me as well. Nav, TJ, Monty over Etienne. Yes. I would go Etienne over Monty.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight you. I have them both really close. I'm not gonna. Yeah, if you want to go Monty, I think it's fine.
Patriots or Bills defense for Yang. That's going to be the Pats since the Bills are on bye. Lincoln was here. Would trading Rondale Moore, Bateman, and a 2023 early mid-second be paying a lot to try and get one of the top wide receivers dynasty by the way? No, I mean if you're trying to get one of the top wide receivers and you're only trading Rondale, Bateman, and mid, even an early second, not at all. Like if you're, I actually don't think that gets it done, Lincoln. If I had, you're definitely not getting Justin Jefferson for that. I wouldn't do it for Lamb either. If you're able to make that kind of a trade, I would absolutely do it, but I don't think you're getting a top dynasty wide receiver for Rondale, Bateman, and a second. I think maybe if you bump that up to a first, you could potentially get there with how that class is looking next year, but I don't think you're getting there with even if it's an early second. I don't think you're getting there.
Yeah. Boss God. This is Raheem Mostert.
Mostert for me as well.
Matthew, you traded JT for Diggs. PPR lineup is Eckler, Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Diggs, Debo, Sun God, Kelsey. One wide receiver, running back, tight end, flex. One wide receiver, tight end. So thought was good. Also have Sutton, Brian Robinson, Mostert on bench.
Yeah, I don't mind it. And you have having Eckler, Mixon, and Ken Walker.
Yeah.
Man. Diggs, Debo, Kelsey, Amon-Ra. Nice. I don't mind it, Matt. Good stuff. Need two wide receivers and a flex here for Alejandro. So let's start with the wide receivers. We have Cooks, Kirk, Myers, Juju, and Higgins and DK.
So I'm going to go with Higgins.
Yes.
And DK. Then I'm going to flex Jacoby Myers.
Who does Seattle have?
Chargers.
Okay. Yeah, Higgins. Yeah. I'm good with that. I like that.
True Teller,
Appreciate you,
thanks guys. Have a
Truth.
great night. Hope you sleep well. NASCAR Fantasy Live. I have Schultz, Evan Ingram, and Logan Thomas. So I drop one of these for Mike Kosicki or Greg Dolgins. NASCAR. How many tight ends do we need here, man?
No, definitely not picking up Gesicki or Dolchich. I would drop Logan Thomas as well. I would just hold on to Schultz and Evan Ingram and see what happens with Schultz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alejandro, trade Gabe Davis and Mostert for Pittman. Yes.
Yep, I would do that.
How do you feel about J.K. Dobbins? It's tough to trust him because this injury, he's having issues with it. It took him forever to come back from it. Now he's back. He plays in a very limited opportunities, and then his knee starts to tighten up. I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, so I'm not going to sit here and begin to tell you what I think that could mean for him. He's a very risky option because of this injury, like we've talked about with him over the offseason, that any running back that comes back from this injury, I know it's beating a dead horse here. We've said it so many times, but it's typically year 2 before they start to look like themselves again. So he
had the additional damage too.
Right. This was more than it wasn't just a clean ACL and he was moving on. He had multiple other issues going on in that knee. So that being said, I think if he can get healthy, he could be fine later in the year, but it's just not something that I'm just trusting. But at this point, you really don't have much of another option of what you can do with them either. So,
yeah.
Matthew, thanks, man. Made some trades somehow 3-3 with that squad. Have a good night.
That'll work itself out. That you'll be all right.
Yeah, totally agree. I want you guys to know I'm very appreciative. We are very appreciative of you guys. Couldn't do this without you guys. We'd be sitting here talking to ourselves. And TN, I don't know if he's in here. In the very way back, even before Cody got here, whenever we used to do this, that's exactly how this was. You'd have like 1 or 2 people in the chat, and we would sit here and talk about stuff. And yeah, but the grind is worth it. So I don't care if we have 5 people in the chat, we have 1,000 people in the chat. Truly appreciate all of you guys. Couldn't do without you guys. And that is why we always try to answer every question. We come on here, we do this, we stay up late. Even on our comment section, Discord, whatever, we always try to answer everything. Because at the end of the day, couldn't do it without you guys. So appreciate everybody here.
It's also funny to, I was just going to say, it's also funny to think that even whenever we first started doing these live shows, we like come with like topics as well, because like, well, we better have something to talk about because
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
like, it used to be like we would do like live ranking show, so we like try and do like live rankings, or we'd always have a topic, and then thankfully that got put to bed pretty quick because the questions started coming in hot and heavy. But like, it was like, all right, what are we going to talk about? Maybe we can go on Twitter and find some questions too, so we can just answer random questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Pat's D.
It's it's Pat's D, but yeah, it's funny how it is. There's a lot of stuff like that. The way these stuff used to go and stuff like that. But hey, you gotta start somewhere, right? And it's been a fun ride. So we'll see what happens if we get to a point where there's 1,000 people in the chat. How that's gonna work for us. But I'm gonna try to make it work. Maybe I'll just quit my job at that point. And I'll just do this, and I'll just sit on here and just answer questions. I'll just be like a robot
for
and
hours.
Just pound coffee or Monster or whatever, and just push through. Anyways,
the pickup was one. That's going to be Wandell for me. NASCAR.
Did I skip it?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. NASCAR long term pickup. Wandell or Thornton after dropping Logan. Yeah, I think it's Wandell Robinson. Yeah.
I think there's a much clearer path to Wandell being the wide receiver 1 for that team versus Thornton for the Pats.
Yeah, I mean, Jacoby Myers isn't going anywhere. Jacoby Myers is still the wide receiver 1 in that offense. Yeah, I would agree.
It's Thick, Henry, Dolchich, Auden, Ingram, rest of season.
It's probably
Ingram.
Yeah, I was going to say Ingram, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be Ingram, Dolchich. I mean, depending on what happens with Cameron Brate, I think those two are kind of interchangeable. And then Then
Under
it'd be
100
100.
otherwise.
Yeah. Ooh. Little prop question. Higher than 67? I like that. I mean, I'm surprised it's that high. I would have thought it would have been a little bit lower, maybe like low 60s. But going up against Atlanta, they might have could be without both of their starting corners, so that would obviously just open things up. So I don't mind it, but I would have thought it would have been a touch lower. Dallas already have Burrow, so I traded Dak, Joe Mixon, Devonta Smith for Lamb and Damian Pierce.
I think it's good. I like that trade.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, obviously, you're getting the upgrade from Smitty to Lamb.
And I actually think you can make a case that Damian Pierce is an upgrade to Joe Mixon. But it's close between both of them.
Rodgers or Goff rest of season? I think it's Goff.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I think it's slightly to lead towards Aaron Rodgers, but it's not looking pretty right now.
No. Just picked up Watson to hold too long, or I mean, with your options, I think it's one of those situations where like maybe you could, but like you're still going to be holding on to that for the next 5-6 weeks with zero production and no chance of production that whole time.
Dolphins or Cardinals here?
I like the Cardinals.
I'm gonna go Dolphins, but I get it. Terrence rocking with us. I'm rostering RB1 or JT, Aaron Jones, Travis Etienne, benches Rashad White, Drake Murray. Should I drop a running back to pick up and stash Kyron? Yeah, I think you want to drop either Drake or Murray. I think you could do that.
It'd probably be Murray for me. Just, I mean, if what we hear is true, and Melvin Gordon's going to jump back into the starting spot, that's where I would lean. Because if we get Dobbins out for if they maybe they throw him on short term IR, or wait, would they even be able to? No, because he started on IR, right? Did he start no?
I don't think
so he would be able to. He could go on short term IR.
I believe, yeah, but
okay. Either way, yeah, I would drop Murray.
I think the Broncos situation is going to turn into a really gross 3-man committee.
Yeah.
Oh, not today. Not today. Past the fun. Nope.
Not today, Satan. Should I send Debo and maybe another for St. Brown, Waddle type wide receiver, or hold?
I think you hold.
Yeah, I would hold. That's where I'm leaning on that one as well, Dallas. That's kind of where my line of thought was for that one. Ramondre or D-Hop in the flex?
Excuse me. This is going to be Ramondre's. Well, you don't have that option. You're not going to be able to figure that out with him. Well, I guess you'll no, because he's probably. Did Damian Harris even practice today at all? I know last week he was limited all week, and then they ruled him out.
I don't know, but the fact that Harris was a true game time decision makes me think that there's probably a possibility that he plays.
Especially when they don't play till what, Monday?
Yeah.
I still think I would still roll.
I'm going to go Ramondre.
Yeah.
I'll say it for you. How many PPR points do we project Jameson Williams to average, and is he coming back this week? I don't think he's coming back this week. And I don't – I think in terms of average, I think it's hard to say because I think he's going to be boom bust. Like, I think, in that offense with Goff. It's not like Goff is some prolific, deep ball passer. That he's fine, but with the options they already have there between some of the other receivers, obviously the Sun God, Hawkinson, Swift. Like I think it's going to be a little hit and miss with Williams. So like average, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily be looking to Jameson Williams for like an average kind of guy. He would be someone who I'd be plugging into my lineup, like if I needed like a boom week.
Yeah, we'll see on him. Like, I mean, I think that I think he could very well be the best wide receiver the Lions have. I think he's going to end up being a stud. Love him, but there's no real motivation to rush him along. And I know that we got some some reports today that the Lions do expect him to play this year, and they also feel like he's turned the corner in recent weeks. It sounds like he's probably another week or two from them activating him. Or allow it, and then that opens up his window for 3 weeks to be able to practice, because he's still going to have to get practice time in, do all this other stuff to kind of get himself ready. So, yeah.
Is Eno still a thing? He looked pedestrian last week until Connor comes back, and he might come back this week.
Yeah, I agree.
So he's a thing until Connor returns, but. There it is, guys. Another 3-hour stream in the books. Any other questions, please feel free to jump into our free Discord. No loops, no strings attached there. Just bunch of folks talking about fantasy football from every angle you would expect. DFS, props, dynasty, Devy, redraft, all that stuff. So any questions you have, appreciate you guys rocking with us. Good luck this week. And Kev, you guys go live tomorrow? So
yeah, we go live.
DFS will be live tomorrow.
Should have Maddie and Debro tomorrow from Fantasy Pros.
Oh, nice. Props live on Saturday, and then I will at least be back on Sunday morning for the Start Sit show, the Sunday edition. So plenty of opportunities for you guys to ask any additional questions. Appreciate all of you rocking with us. Thank you so much. Please hit us with a sub and a like if you have yet to do so. Good luck in week 7.